This video was created during the 2023 WGA and SAG strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, Ahsoka wouldn't exist. Learn more about the strike at the link in the description.
Hey, what's up, everyone? We're back for the show between shows, our
Whoa.
Ahsoka after show.
Right on time.
Yep, 6:03. I saw Doomslayer calling it down.
It's our call time. It's our new cool call time.
It's not even on purpose. It's just fashionably late. Shout out to Elliot Finn, a fan of ours. I think it was in one of our Lego live streams, suggested this for the after show name, and it's too perfect to pass
too
up.
perfect.
But
we went through a whole thing too. We were like, someone definitely told us that name in a live stream at some point, and
I wrote it down somewhere and promptly lost it. So
and that
that's
was like
on me.
Long time ago. That was months ago, I think.
Yeah. But it's a wonderful name. It's so fitting. It's so funny. So thank you, Elliot, for the excellent name. We are going to obviously talk about the first two episodes of Ahsoka that came out last night, Tuesday night. That was
there
fun.
He is.
Hey, Elliot.
MVP.
MVP. Thank you, Elliot. And thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Elliot.
We're going to do the first 2 weeks a little bit different, a little bit faster. We don't have any guests this week or next week just because there's a lot of other stuff going on for us, especially with Dragon Con is next week. And we're doing a lot in the build up to that. I'm moderating 2 panels I have to prepare for. Mollie's moderating a panel, and we're also on panels that we have to prepare for. So this is a lot of preparing. Things. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
So we're going to talk real quick amongst ourselves because I already know what Mollie thought of the episode and she knows what I thought. And we want to hear what you all think and what questions you have. But should we start with our tradition and just go ahead and share our pictures of our favorite moments?
I think so. And I saw very early on in the chat people already guessing what mine was going to be. So I'll go first.
I saw that and I laughed as well.
I mean, I went into Alex's office like an hour and a half ago and I was like, should we do the drawings again? We started them for Book of Boba Fett because it was like doing a book report, like show and tell kind of thing. But I was like, for Sabine, for her sake, I think she would definitely approve of our weekly drawings for the show. So yes, I drew a Loth cat.
That's a good Loth cat.
It's kind of derpy.
No, that's really good. It's no more derpy than the actual one.
the chicken feet just get to me. I don't know what it is, but the one from the show is really, really cute. When we first saw the puppet at San Diego Comic-Con, I was like, that thing looks kind of creepy, but I've fallen in love with it.
There's a lot of celebrating for the Loth cat. I mean, we were going back and forth between loving on it last night and making fun of it. You pointed out that it has kind of a Terrence and Phillip face.
Yeah, its whole like mouth opens up almost, or its whole head opens up. It's cute though. It sounds just like a cat. It moves just like a cat. Like one of the first, I think it is the first scene we see it from behind when Sabine is walking in, and it like gets up to do a big stretch like cute animals do, and it like shakes a little at the top, and I was like, that's just like a cat. Oh my god.
And I wanted to point out something that this whole schedule change allowed for us to actually watch Star Wars with our friends for the first time in a long time. I mean,
very long time.
We were all like in our separate homes, but we all got on Discord and sat down and watched Star Wars together. And that was really fun to be able to occasionally crack some jokes and not talk over it too much. But I found a lot of joy in watching along with our friends.
Yeah, that was really, really nice.
It's like we haven't been able to do that since a movie came out, really. And that's when we would all get tickets and we'd go and we all saw The Rise of Skywalker together. And since then, we've been getting TV shows that Mollie and I wake up at 3 to 6 a.m. to watch. Yeah. Can't make our friends do that.
Bring up Book Hunters chat. Loth Cat emote win.
That's a good idea.
good one to make.
I like that. I'll share my drawing. I had a tough time choosing, but I think this has made me laugh every time. So I went with live action Chopper saying, "Did you go through my stuff?" Because I love that quote line too. I don't the way that you can tell what he's saying, you can at least translate it in your own head, which I don't feel like I ever did that watching Star Wars Rebels until we did our rewatch. And then like every line Chopper says, we would both say what we think he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like clear as day. And that's one of them of just, did you go through my stuff?
For some reason it seems to work even better in live action. And yeah, I think with every syllable noise he made, you could insert words very easily into what he was saying. Like when he like finds the tracking device and he goes, "Found it," you know exactly that he's saying that. Mm-hmm. It's great.
And every time, it's like muscle memory now. If he says something, we just instantly say it back, especially if we know what it was.
Yeah, and Jake said, I've seen people putting subtitles on.
Oh, that's fun. I haven't seen that.
I hope that one day when this is like a Steelbook 4K physical release, we can get Chopper's lines in Dave Filoni's voice.
Someday, like I would really love to see just Dave in a recording booth giving directions to himself, trying to record Chopper's lines.
He says the line, he's like, nah, he's probably angrier than that.
Chopper wasn't in the credits. Dave wasn't credited this time, or usually in Star Wars Rebels, it would say Chopper as himself until the very last episode. So maybe they'll save it for the end, the Ahsoka finale or something. But
yeah,
those were our two favorite parts. I did get close to drawing Hu Yang discussing the lightsaber with Sabine. I think that probably was my favorite scene of both episodes, but that moment with Chopper like banging on the Phantom and just being Chopper, the way he translated into live action, I was impressed. They're going to try to ease people in, and then eventually he'll be rolling around on his middle wheel with two blasters, and we'll see how people respond to that.
Please let that happen. I don't know if this is like my favorite scene of the two episodes. It was just the thing that I wanted to draw.
You definitely loved that. Like I no one's surprised that you drew the cute thing.
Yeah. I had tears in my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, the picture of you reacting to it is very cute.
I was like mid sip of coffee, like,
Well, if there's nothing else you specifically want to talk about, we can just dive into questions.
Let's get into some questions.
Let's get into some questions.
I have some specific notes here, but I'm sure they'll come up in conversation while we get to some of these.
I already like Chopper's gonna blow up the Eye of Sion. I can see it.
Yeah. He's gunning for it.
Well, we have our first super chat and question here from Queensland, Australia. Thank you so much. Jai Kell and Ryder Azadi showed up unexpectedly, at least for me. Who else like them do you think will show up? Also unexpected for me. I don't know why. Jai Kell, I don't think I ever would have guessed. Ryder feels like I should have guessed that.
Yeah, I mean, just because like I had forgotten how involved Clancy Brown is in Star Wars already. Like he played the Deveronian character in The Mandalorian. He voiced Savage Opress. He voiced
the Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He's done a bunch of other random voices, but yeah, and of course Ryder.
Yeah.
But that seemed like another one, kind of like Bo-Katan, where when they made the model, they were like, why don't we go ahead and make this kind of look like the person, just in case.
I still struggle with Clancy Brown, though, just because he was in that last season of Dexter, and he played a real creep, and I just can't get that character out of my head every time I hear his voice now. It sucks.
And he had the beard and everything, too.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone saw the last season of Dexter, you might know what I'm talking about. It's just stuck in my head now.
But yeah, that was a really, really pleasant surprise to see Ryder and Jaikel. Who else could show up? I mean, really, I think any Rebels character is fair game. I think Zeb is going to happen at some point, and Rex. Like, let's ignore the more major characters, but maybe Vizago.
Ooh,
Little side character, yeah. A little bit of scum and villainy. I mean, maybe Hondo. Although it seems like the story is going to get away from the familiar stuff that we already know.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll have to see how much is going to stick around in this galaxy.
I know you mentioned what's his name? Mart Matten.
Mart Matten would be fun.
Because he was in the finale, right?
He's in some of the final episodes. Oh yeah, he is. He is in the finale.
Of Rebels, I mean.
Yeah. Got some good guesses. Of course, Give Me Hondo. Callus is fun. AP5, we did discuss AP5 potential.
I really want AP5 in it.
Well, because that's one that it's just a droid, and all you have to do, even if he doesn't speak, which I would want him to, but you could have Chopper arguing with an RA7 droid off in the background, and we would know. We would know who that is.
But I mean, what's his name? Steven Stanton does his voice, and he's another one that has done tons and tons of voice work for Star Wars. So I'm sure they could get him on board to come back to voice him for live action. And yeah, they've had AP or that kind of droid. Is it called an AP series?
It's a RA7 is what I'm used to calling it.
That's right, yeah.
And there was one on Corellia, and I did jump, and I thought it was him for a second, but it was the wrong color.
Yeah.
But Zare is another one that on Lothal. He's from Lothal, and we haven't seen him since Star Wars Rebels and then the Servants of the Empire books.
Yeah. Callus would be a good one.
Myriad Media Musings has your favorite.
But I talked about him on one of our last Q&As, and I was like, someone asked, who don't we want to see? And I said as Morgan, because that character just bugs the crap out of me. He's so like snivelly, but he plays it perfectly. Like that's who he's supposed to be.
I'm gonna go with As Morgan. Or not so now he's on my mind. I'm gonna go with Vizago. Vizago is gonna be the weird side Star Wars Rebels character that I think would be cool to pop up.
What was the name of Sabine's bounty hunter friend?
Ketsu.
I want to see her.
Yeah, and
she'd be really cool.
It's slipping my mind who played her from Firefly, but I could see her playing that character.
Oh, from Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the main cast of Firefly?
Yeah. She was like I can't remember anyone's name in that show. She was Nathan Fillion's second in command.
Gina Torres?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that she voiced her.
I think so.
Perfect. Even better. I think she's coming to DragonCon this year.
Nice. We'll ask her.
I'll ask her. Like, Gina, I have a question.
Is there anyone else you think will show up? Or do you want to like plant your flag in a character?
If I'm planning flags, I'm going Hondo. If I want to try to be right.
Oh, okay.
If I want to go with my heart, I'll say the bounty hunter.
Ketsu.
I keep forgetting her name.
All right.
Maddie Gunner has the next super chat. What else could be in Chopper's secret stash? What else is in there?
It's funny. Both he and Sabine had like a box of stuff they were rifling through, and I paused to look in and see if they had anything interesting. There's got to be a weapon in there somewhere. I feel like he's got a hidden blaster or something, like a little holdout blaster.
Snacks. He's definitely got.
What would he eat?
I don't know.
Oil, batteries,
Oil can, batteries. Yeah. Spare parts probably. He's got a burn book for sure.
Boomstick says he has a nuke. Yeah, I mean, he is a weapon of mass destruction.
Like those HK droids apparently just have nukes in their chests.
Right. I was not expecting an explosion on that level, but I guess if there's 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. But no, he's definitely got a burn book of like other droids that he wants to eventually murder.
He's got a list like Arya.
Mm-hmm. Everything Zeb has ever done wrong.
He's like, do we even want to find Ezra? Really?
It's a book full of receipts. That's what it is. Oh, and I was just looking through chat for the previous question. I can't believe I forgot to say the Bendu. I've been harping on the Bendu popping up in something for weeks now, but anyways.
I think there's a chance. I think we're going to get into something weird and mystical when we get to Peridia, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some weird stuff.
I hope so. Let's get weird.
Andrew 711, thank you for the next question. Why didn't they just leave after getting the map? Who?
Oh, I saw someone else talk about this. The droids when they got the map from Sabine.
Uh-huh.
Like, why didn't they just get it and then leave? Because Sabine, like, by the time she got down there, they were just standing there waiting for her. But I think Shin wanted to see who it was and confront her. And then when she saw her put out a lightsaber, she was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do this.
I could see that. Like Shin, already there are parallels to Darth Maul with the little probe droid and kind of reporting back that was shot very similarly. She might be a character that wants to go test her skills against someone else. And she's like, oh, Ahsoka has an apprentice. I'm an apprentice. Let's pick a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the droid was just like, hey, she's right behind me. So we're going to have to fight. She's going to catch up to us. But I like that idea that just Shin wants to fight.
Yeah, because like we've noticed for Shin's character, she's like always at Balin's side, and she hardly ever speaks for herself. She's constantly looking at Balin for approval and like double checking with him. Last night I kind of said that it was almost like how we train Hilo to like look at us before he runs out and jumps in the car to go to the park, you know? Like he's got her very well trained, but when she went off on her own, she's like, I want to pick a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
It's very similar to the Darth Maul comic, where the second he gets a little freedom, he's like, I'm going to go kill a Jedi. That's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Shin is Shin and Balin, I'm really into them, and just, I don't know what they're about yet, but everything that we've seen is very interesting.
Something I wrote down about Shin specifically. So are we to assume that Balin knew Morgan was a Night Sister?
He seemed to not be surprised by that when he was like, oh, she's not doing a spell. She just knows information.
Because then when Shin is like, you're a witch, I was like, oh, maybe Balin is keeping some information from Shin. Like, I don't know why we need to find out more about the two of them, but it seemed like maybe Balin knew and she didn't. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but it's like she knows what a witch of Dathomir is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's hiding that stuff. But yeah, it's like you don't need to know who our employer is. There might be an element of that. I definitely sense that there's going to be some fractures between Balin and Shin and Morgan. Like, I feel like they're just working with her as long as it is convenient for them.
Right.
and then I just because it's Star Wars, I'm already expecting that Shin is probably gonna be a good guy by the end of her story.
Mm.
Maybe that's just I might just be hoping that I could fix her. Everyone likes Shin.
She's pretty rad. I'm a fan. But yeah, I like the parallels of like Shin and Baylan and Ahsoka and Sabine, and the idea that Ahsoka and Sabine are a little bit closer, and Ahsoka might fill her in on more stuff while they're out and about and training and stuff like that. But Baylan and Shin, like Baylan has Shin on a very need to know basis.
Mm.
It's basically just like his attack dog.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Dorwin's got the next question. Thank you. Could the second galaxy be the origin point of the Night Sister culture / magics? Is it really Thrawn calling to Morgan or something or someone else? I want to start with the second part because I don't think that's Thrawn at all.
Yeah, I mean, we've never known Thrawn to be able to whisper through the Force or whisper to anyone through Night Sister magic, so that seemed kind of off. That she was like, "Oh yeah, it's Thrawn."
And
He's
like
calling me.
You can hear the whispers, and I'm like, that's not Thrawn's voice, and it's not. Yeah, unless I just don't see Thrawn being out in exile, being like, "Oh, Morgan, save me," and like those cries reaching her or something. I think there's something else at play that is I'm scared and excited.
Oh, I'm pumped. Like as soon as we got confirmation that she was a Night Sister, I was so excited. And you mentioned the idea that she might be using some sort of Night Sister magic to look a certain way, and maybe she actually looks a lot crazier, kind of like Mother Talzin.
I'm curious if, just noticing that her hair looks different, which might just be a design choice that they were like, let's make her hair a little whiter, a little more gray. But I would kind of like it if over the course of the series she looked more and more like a classic Night Sister, like maybe she was casting a spell to hide her true identity, because she did say like, I'm a survivor, and she's one of the last few Night Sisters, so I kind of think she's trying to hide in plain sight.
Mm. Okay, did we talk about the first part of the question? Could the second galaxy be the origin point of the Night Sister culture? Could be.
It makes sense that a different galaxy would have a completely different set of rules or a different understanding of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that we've seen a lot of different understandings of the Force in the unknown regions. So wherever they're going, I think the Force will exist. But yeah, it might be everyone there uses it through magic or something along those lines.
That would be kind of a cool way to bring Night Sisters back into canon, since so many of them have been wiped out.
Kind of like the Lasat Lirasan thing, where well, we just got to find the planet where there's actually a lot of them still.
Yeah, Lucasfilm was like, man, people are really into the Night Sisters. How do we bring them back?
Yeah, they put Marin in Fallen Order, and everyone freaked out, and they're like, maybe we should do more Night Sister stuff.
always more Night Sister stuff. Josh Mansfield, thank you so much for being a Biggs mega fan for 3 months. We should get on some new emotes for Ahsoka. I like the Lothcat idea one. Once Ezra is back, will Sabine build her own lightsaber? Also, how excited were you to see now Senator Jai Kell? I fist pumped. Love this so much. Yeah, we were excited for Jai Kell. I didn't recognize him at first until you said his name, and I was like, oh, that's him?
I was still reeling from Ryder and just being like, of course he would be here. Why wouldn't he be here? And then when he's like, Senator Jai Kell, and then I was like, Jai too? Oh, it's so cool. Like, little detail that they didn't have to do, but very fun.
Yeah.
So the lightsaber question is interesting because there was that conversation with Hu Yang. Although, should we try to say it Hu Yang? because
Huyang.
we realized Ahsoka says it Huyang, and we say it like Southerners, where it's like, oh, it's our friend Huyang.
Huyang.
Huyang, y'all.
I'm just going to say it like I say it. I don't think Huyang would mind.
Well, that conversation with him, it did sound like he considered that to be her lightsaber now. So I'm giving like whatever, he's the lightsaber expert. So whatever he says, I'll agree with. Whether Ezra agrees with it, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think she could choose it, like if she continues her training with Ahsoka, she could choose at some point to build her own if she wants to. But yeah, with what Huyang said, it sounded like that's hers now. Like Ezra, we don't know for sure, but Huyang was assuming that Ezra left it for you on purpose. And I kind of did like the inclusion of that bit because there's still people out there that argue that it's not really Rey's lightsaber, it's not Luke's lightsaber, it's Anakin's. Whoever's lightsaber it is, you know, when it gets passed to the next person, it's theirs. So I just liked that we got to hear that from the man himself, Huyang. Like, he's like the master of lightsaber knowledge, which was another cool thing that he has this like Rolodex of lightsabers in his memory.
Oh yeah, I loved that he got to use that his knowledge to figure out who Balin was.
Yeah, that was such a cool like addition to the storyline.
And I was just about to say this, but Mike, I think you are right on the money. Is that it's been like 10 years. So if Ezra hasn't built a new lightsaber yet, he probably needs one. Who knows where he is or what he's doing, but that I'm kind of thinking he may have built a new one and he would understand if that were Sabine's now. He might tease her about it, but we'll see.
Because we got that one little moment in what was it, footage at Star Wars Celebration where we saw someone trying to use the Force to move something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know about Sabine, that could have been her, but it still also could be Ezra. So wherever he's been, he could be kind of cut off from the Force, or maybe he just hasn't been using it. I don't know if he would have access to the tools needed to build a new lightsaber.
True. We don't know what is in that other galaxy. I do think that shot of the hand trying to use the Force, I'm like, that was probably Sabine, now knowing what we know.
Probably.
Miranda here. Thank you for the next very generous super chat. Hi, Alex and Molly. I didn't do a rewatch of Rebels ahead of time and found these 2 episodes thrilling. I thought that Ahsoka, the white, was perhaps from when she previously trained Sabine. Any reason it couldn't be? Thanks. And I'll bring up that Miranda here also said, so sorry for mistyping your name, Molly. Thanks and sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. I'll answer for you. That's okay.
My dad chose to spell it like that, and most people get it wrong, so no worries.
So I don't think that there's necessarily a definitive reason that Ahsoka the White and all that stuff couldn't be from beforehand, but it's kind of odd that they would show like the exact same shots one for one with the mural and everything. So I don't think that Ahsoka the White happened before this. I think we're going to see Ahsoka go from gray to white over the course of this show.
I can't wait for your Gandalf video.
That comes out probably this weekend. I don't know. I made a lot of videos today, and I will have one a day come out. But I did a video kind of comparing Gandalf the gray and white to Ahsoka the gray and white, which Dave Filoni has not been shy about, also comparing Ahsoka to Gandalf. So just exploring that connection. But I think that the epilogue of Rebels has changed a little bit, and we're just going to get the full story now.
Yeah, because of that epilogue from Rebels having to, like, I think Dave made that to try and tie everything together and put a nice little bow on it for the time being, because at the time he wasn't sure if he could keep going with the story or not. Mm-hmm. So I think what we're seeing is that same scene, but Ahsoka has not reached Ahsoka the White levels. Like, she hasn't gotten there in her journey yet. But I think Dave drawing her that way means that she will eventually. She just has to, and we'll see it in the show, she's got to go through some more stuff.
Yeah.
Not the most elegant way to put it, but
she's got some stuff to go through.
She's got some baggage to unpack.
Yeah.
Jack Grinnan, thank you so much for the next one. You think Ezra and Thrawn are still together or separated? Oh boy. This is one that is like, has been on my mind a lot. I want to think that they're still together because I want to imagine some sort of weird Stockholm syndrome going on with Ezra and Thrawn. Like, they're kind of finding some common ground and like getting to know each other over all these years, but I don't know if they're going to go in that direction.
I think that they are going to still be together. I just don't know why Thrawn would let Ezra go. Maybe Ezra escaped after they made it to Peridea, but I feel like Thrawn would have him around and would want to learn more about the Force from him, because that's like his big weakness.
Thezra, is that their couple name?
And then maybe they fall in love. I don't know.
Oh my god. Thezra for life. I love it.
Thresra or Ezron, I guess. Yeah, Thresra's better. I don't really like either of those.
That's what Thrawn has severely been missing love in his life. That's probably why he's been such a jerk this whole time. He just needs someone to really connect to.
I think the books have made it pretty clear he's asexual, aromantic.
And that's okay too.
He loves the tactics.
He loves art. Very attracted to art.
Uh-huh.
Which we love that for him.
Dean the Machine, thank you for the next super chat. When did Thrawn and the Night Sisters, or Elsbeth specifically, start working together? Did I miss something? No, you did not. And I don't know the answer. It does seem a little weird to me that I'm like, how would they be working together? Why does Elsbeth want to work for the Empire? Because a lot of the Night Sisters that have survived seem to know that the Empire and the people that massacred them are basically the same. Like, they know who Darth Sidious is. So it's interesting that Elsbeth would work for the Empire, but I would guess that she is just a survivor, as she says, and she'll betray her principles and her culture to keep on surviving.
Yeah. I think she's just using the Imperial remnant and partially Thrawn too to just get what she wants. I think once we find out more about what's in this other galaxy, we'll figure out more of her motivations, of Baylan and Shin's motivations. Maybe Thrawn has a plan wherever he is out in this other galaxy, because it sounds like some of the lines that Baylan said, it sounded like they want to go there and like just live there instead of where they are now, which makes sense because of everything that happened.
That look he gets on his face when he's like, for some, finding Thrawn will mean war. And then he's like, for some, and he kind of smiles and he's like, a new beginning.
A new beginning.
It does seem very hopeful and wistful.
And yeah, maybe they talk about power in the trailer a lot. So maybe they want to just go to this other galaxy and put a flag down and take over for themselves.
As for when Thrawn and the Night Sisters started working together, I don't think Thrawn worked with the Night Sisters collectively, because most of them were wiped out by the time Thrawn even got to the galaxy. So I'm wondering if he even knew Elsbeth was a Night Sister. Because if he did, again, it kind of ties into the whole fact that he doesn't know much about the Force. And if he had an ally who could tell him some things, I would have thought he would use that. So I'm wondering if Elsbeth this whole time has just been hiding her identity as a Night Sister from everyone. But then I'm also like, how did she get so much power and all these factors? I don't know. I have a lot of questions about Elsbeth.
I think Elsbeth and Thrawn probably like bonded over the fact that they're both survivors. I mean, the Chiss are the Chiss still around? Where are the Chiss right now?
They're off in the Ascendancy in the Unknown Regions.
Okay, but so where they have been this whole time, like there aren't a lot of Chiss, there aren't a lot of Night Sisters. I think the two of them bonded over that fact and probably decided to work together.
Maybe.
And
I don't know. Yeah, big questions surrounding Elsbeth, I think.
I think Thrawn probably respects her and like the power that she can wield because he's really interested in the Force and like the power that the Jedi have, and he wants to like study it and understand it. So maybe he's doing something similar with her.
Well, the timeline of it all doesn't really make sense for me because he is duped by the Force twice. Once at the end of Rebel Season 3, and he was duped by like the Bendu, a big deal. But then he's also tricked by the Purrgil. Like, how could he have seen that coming? And I just don't know when he would have had time to make an ally in Elsbeth, like after all of that. So that's my theory, is that he didn't even know she was a witch.
But she hides it well.
Yeah.
She doesn't have like, I mean, she kind of has, I don't know if she's meant to have grayish skin, but she doesn't have very many like markings, kind of like Marin does, but she's got the one like up here, which could easily be hidden with some little swoop bangs or something. But I like that she shows it off. Good for her.
And that's why I want to see her like drop a disguise spell that she's had this whole time or something, and like turn into full on Mother Talzin, have a green bubble of magical energy around her, like shooting green lightning, like go full Night Sister with it. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. I'd be down.
William Crisp has the next question here. Thank you. When Sabine fed her cat and the bowl clinked, my cat perked up because she thought I had food.
Oh.
That's not a question. It's just a cute story.
That's very cute. The little meows. Like, I was waiting for Pippin to perk up hearing that, but he just couldn't care less.
Yeah. Pippin and Hilo didn't care.
No, but you can hear them. Not them. You can hear Hilo, as per usual, snoring, and our reaction, which after today, I think we're going to start using microphones because it's just, he's a snory boy and he just lays right next to the camera.
Douglas McKinney, thank you for the next one. I knew Dave growing up in Mount Lebanon and have watched his career with great interest. Easter egg, Cub Scout style diamond patches on Sabine's jacket. Ooh. I definitely noticed that.
I love this little bit of Dave lore. Not really.
I don't know if he was a Cub Scout, but that definitely jumped out to me. Sabine's 4, or I think she had 3. And then she didn't have the 4th, which kind of represents like her unfinished training. If we're going by
little, is it like on her chest?
Yeah, it's on the left side of her jacket. And in Cub Scouts, you get like tiger, wolf, bear, weebelo. Those are the ranks. And
what's a weebelo?
I don't really remember. But if you just get the first 3 and you don't get weebelo, then like you don't graduate as a Cub Scout.
Oh.
So maybe that's supposed to represent Sabine, how she didn't get to finish her training.
This is why I would only join the Pawnee goddesses.
You'd be a great goddess.
No weebelos needed. Only puppies and candy.
Do you want to read the next one?
I'm trying to keep up because these keep getting out of order for some reason.
Well, I'll read. I was going to let you read it, but it's from Chase. Thanks,
Oh,
Chase.
hi, Chase.
Happy Ahsoka season.
We can't see the little emojis or the emotes. Get it together, StreamYard.
I thought you were going to tell Chase to get it together.
No.
Get it together, Chase. Ugh.
All right, I found where we are now. Scotty Heron, thank you so much for the next one. Ahsoka's smooth AF dodge of the lightsaber throw from Marok was top tier. Her facial expression in that moment was great. I agree. That was like so slick of her, and she just looked annoyed. Like, I know what you're doing. Don't even like. No.
Come on, Marok. Marok is pretty quickly becoming one of my favorite Inquisitors. We barely know a thing about him, but his armor alone has just won me over. I love that it looks like it's made of metal and not leather. I love how rusted it looks. I love his helmet. I'm gonna drop my eighth brother theory. I think I'm probably wrong on that, but I still think he's super cool.
Do you think he is? I think I heard you say you thought he was working for Morgan.
He is.
Is he, or is he working for Baylan and Shin?
Well, I guess I don't know what the hierarchy is. Because, like, I guess they're all mercenaries and they're all working for Morgan, but it seems like Baylan is the top mercenary who talks to Morgan, and he's like, Marok will get his job done, and she's like, see that he does. So maybe Baylan is the manager of the mercenaries.
Assistant to the, what is it?
That Shin is the assistant to the manager.
Yeah.
But Baylan is Mr. Manager.
Yeah. I don't know who Marok is. I think it's a new person, but I like the detail of their rusted armor because there's probably not a whole lot of Inquisitors around anymore.
I would expect he's the only one.
Is he even an Inquisitor, though? I mean, those pants do fit him like a glove, but he could have taken that armor from someone else.
Oh, those are his pants.
Those are for sure his pants.
he got them tailored. The StarWars.com does say he was an Inquisitor, but I don't think he is serving that role anymore, or else he would kill Baylan. Because he was a Jedi once.
Well, he said, I am no Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, if you were just to say that to an Inquisitor, be like, trust me, bro, I'm not a Jedi.
But his lightsaber's red. Orange. Reddish.
He's just like, oh, okay, well, you got the right color, so I'll let you pass.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think Marok is an Inquisitor now.
Baylan knows that special handshake that all the Inquisitors have, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were in the club. Come on in.
But yeah, Marok is super cool. Miranda here, thank you for the next one. Oh, I read that one already.
Yeah, don't these get out of order for some reason? I feel like they are.
No.
No?
Not for me. I'm just on the starred thing. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Jane Dalton, for the next one. Do y'all think that we're starting to follow a bit of the Hand of Thrawn books, where Thrawn built up his army and fleet in a different galaxy to bring back to the main Star Wars galaxy?
Ooh.
I'll be interested to see what he's got going on in a completely different galaxy.
I don't know much about the Hand of Thrawn books, but it sounds close to what this looks like.
It's like Jane said, Thrawn went missing for a while, and he was concerned about some unknown threat, which in Legends turned out to be the Yuuzhan Vong. He was preparing for an invasion, and so he built up an army. But I'm trying to remember. I don't think that really played out in the Heir to the Empire stuff. In the original trilogy, he kind of had that going on off to the side, and he returned to the galaxy to fight the New Republic. And then there was like this whole race to find the Katana fleet because he was still building up his own forces at that point. So I don't know. I feel like the search for Thrawn is kind of combining the Katana fleet plot line a little bit. Like a bunch of people are going to be racing to find Thrawn.
Mm-hmm. Because they miss him or because he has a fleet?
Because they miss him. I don't know if he has a fleet. It sounds like Morgan is building ships. That they've talked about her factories back in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Well, we know that she's using these huge hyperdrives to build this hyperspace ring, assuming to catapult them into another galaxy. Hope that works out for them.
Yeah. I guess I'm not expecting. I don't know what Thrawn's been up to. I haven't been expecting him to have some huge army in a different galaxy.
It just feels too Rise of Skywalker. All the ships coming up out of the water and like everything. They weren't on Exegol, wherever they were.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It feels too close. I don't know that they would do that again.
Well, they're already doing the secret map to a missing character, so...
That's true. I don't know.
He's still wearing like the Imperial outfit that we've seen in the trailer. So maybe he has conquered that entire galaxy. And he's like, wait till the Emperor hears about what I did. And then he's going to find out the Emperor died.
He's going to be like, oh, shoot.
5 years ago.
Shoot.
Dang it.
Okay. This one's next, right?
No,
nope,
but go ahead.
This one. Oh my gosh. Why can't I
How
get
are
this
they
together?
out of order for you?
I don't know. Like the times on mine are different. Anyways, StreamYard is weird. I'm the Stein. Thank you for another super chat. Do you prefer Mara Jade with red hair or her new white hair? I love her new name. What do you think? Is she the new Mara Jade?
For now, I think we can go with that. I think that they are going to be completely different characters. Maybe Shin is going to be slightly inspired by Mara. I do think that Shin is probably going to swap sides and join the light side by the end. So I think we'll be able to draw some parallels, but they're not going to be close enough that Filoni felt comfortable being like, this is Mara Jade.
Yeah, I didn't read those books, so I don't know how well I can compare the two, but from what I've heard about Joruus C'baoth, like I can see the parallels with him and Baylan, and maybe some of their intentions are similar. So
again, like I think it's pretty light, those connections, just
vague. Vague connections.
And there are parallels, but again, not close enough that Filoni was just going to call him C'baoth.
Yeah. No one would be able to pronounce that.
Yeah. He was like, that's a silly name. I'm going to call him Skull. I'm going to name him after my favorite wolf.
Yeah.
But I don't have a preference yet because I grew up, reading about Mara Jade. I like Mara Jade a lot. I like Shin a lot too, but I don't know if I can pick favorites yet. Come back to me after the season is over and we'll talk again.
We'll be here still talking.
Miranda here. Thanks for being a Biggs mega fan for over a year and sent in all our emotes.
Yeah, check out the membership because the emotes are really fun. A lot of them have to do with our Jedi Survivor playthrough right now. It's like, oh, well, the Night Sister magic one now applies to Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's
true.
Fun.
But the one with me with like the sensor thing over my mouth is when I get too frustrated with the game and start cursing. But that might happen here too. We don't know.
Matthew Byron has the next one. Thank you. I rewatched Star Wars Rebels with you all. Why does Thrawn keep mispronouncing Hera's last name? Is it intentional? Is it an accent?
What does he say?
He says Syndulla.
Syndulla.
General Syndulla.
I mean,
I think he says it however he wants, and no one in the Empire corrects him because he's a Grand Admiral.
I think it's similar, or maybe even like a little callback to how what's his name said Leia. They're just, what's his name?
Tarkin?
Oh my god, Tarkin. Yeah. if I say what's his name, I assume you will fill it in for me. I think it's just like being stuck up Imperial thing. Like, he's just like, I think this is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, and I won't bother to check. I also think that it's just a Star Wars thing, like when Bill Burr said the Battle of Tainab, and no one said, "Hey, Bill, we got to take that back. It's actually the Battle of Tanab." Like, I think they just kind of let people say things, and it's like, I don't know, how do you want to pronounce it today? Because there's not a ton of consistency in Star Wars, even with Han and Han. Sometimes things just are pronounced differently.
I kind of like it just because everyone likes to argue about how things are pronounced. So why not shake it up a little bit and have even in-universe characters messing things up or shaking things up. Tim Sen, thank you for the next very generous super chat. The criticisms I've seen so far from the ones who haven't seen Rebels say that it's stiff, impatient start with a certain Rebels learning curve, and one who watched Clone Wars and Rebels saying Filoni's dull and unremarkable with live action.
And I'm going to read the next one because it's also from Tim. But so far, the positives are outweighing the noticeable negatives, so I'm excited to see where it goes. Thanks, Alex, for all those recaps, which helped me a ton with the premiere last night. I'm glad they helped. I'll pull back those criticisms, though. I do understand, especially the criticism surrounding Rosario being stiff in the role, but I really think that's on purpose.
I do too. She's still got a lot of her guards up, and she's being very protective of herself right now. And I'm hoping that we start to see her open up a little bit more, loosen up. I really want to think that Rosario can nail this role, but it's just going to take some time because Ahsoka is just in a certain place right now where she's like not going to be as warm.
Yeah, when we look at her, and most of the time we spend with her is in the Clone Wars when she's a child, and she's she's a teenager, but she's energetic, enthusiastic, happy, close with a lot of people. Then she gets kicked out of the Jedi Order. Then she walks away from the Order after they try to let her back in. What happens with Anakin, he becomes Darth Vader. She thinks that he's dead for a long time. Then she finds out he was actually Darth Vader. So now she's in this position where I think she is afraid to make attachments. She's afraid that she could become like Anakin, because like she said in season 2, I've seen it. It happened to the best of us. So I think she is afraid to put down roots, afraid to make real connections with people, afraid to train Grogu or Sabine. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, Molly, she's got all these walls up, and she is not the Ahsoka that we got to know. But I think that's going to be part of the journey from Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the White.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, like, a lot of the characters seem very stiff. And I can definitely see that. But, like, everything is so new. The New Republic is still pretty new. And I feel like they're all just kind of trying to figure things out. Like Hera, she's been a general for a while, I guess. But her family got just, like, totally split up. So she's also got a lot of walls up.
And even her, I don't think that Mary Elizabeth Winstead was flat or stiff. I felt that she was very close to the Hera that I was expecting. Sabine, I can understand. She also has walls up because she tried to lead an uprising on Mandalore that got all of her people nearly wiped out. And she lost Ezra. And like it's the anniversary of him going missing. So she's dealing with a lot. And I think that both of them together, Ahsoka and Sabine, Master and Apprentice, will probably help each other find themselves again.
Yeah. I was surprised at how much I did like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's portrayal of Hera. I had pretty low expectations for it. I wasn't really sure how to feel about it, but I think she's getting there.
I've been happy with everyone's portrayal. I am gonna continue to be curious to see how people who haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars experience this show. I'll be getting lunch with my parents on Friday, so I'll figure out how many questions they have and if they understood it or not.
Yeah. I do think Filoni still has a little ways to go as far as directing live action, but it's getting better.
Every time I see his work, I mean, compare this to the Gunslinger episode of The Mandalorian, which was one of my least favorite episodes. Like, it's night and day. And I agree, there are some moments where I'm like, that lasted a little too long, or I have some criticisms of the direction, but I think it's improving.
Yeah. I said earlier, some of the long dramatic pauses in the first episode to me felt almost like they were waiting or like pausing for applause. And I was like, this is kind of weird. This has gone on for long enough. But
it's like when Kramer kicked open the door to Seinfeld and everyone had to applaud. That's going to be Jason Syndulla. He's going to enter the ghost and slide in.
Oh my gosh. Which one are we on now?
Major Jedi.
Okay. Thank you so much for the next super chat, Major Jedi. Have you guys seen the dead Shin shot in trailer?
Nope.
Dead Shin shot? Where is she supposed to be dead?
Or maybe she's probably like in the background lying down somewhere. She's just having a nap.
Just having a lie down.
But no, I haven't noticed that.
I haven't seen that either. Well, she could die, but I kind of hope she doesn't.
She could. I would be surprised. I hope she doesn't. Just because I think she's neat.
She's not dead. She's just tired.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Yeah, for real. Let her relax. I'm sure working for Balin and Morgan, and also you have to go rescue Marok and pick him up off Corellia. Like, she's got a lot on her plate.
She never blinks, too. That's got to be tiring.
Yeah. She's very intense. Ulrika Schulman, thank you for the next one. Who do you think we will meet in that other galaxy? The Rakatans, Yuzan Fong, the Grisk, the Zephos. Loved meeting you at Celebration. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I worked on a video today about if we're gonna see. I actually think that whatever we meet is going to be something new. I think it would be fun for all of us Star Wars fans to experience something brand new together. But I absolutely did think about the Vong, the Grisk, and the Zepho.
Yeah, I hope it's not the Vong, just because I don't think they would translate very well into what Filoni and Favreau are creating. And if it is them, that would mean that they very easily got completely wiped out by the time The Force Awakens comes along. So I don't know.
I don't think it'll be the Vong. I do think there's a chance just because they were going to include them in the Clone Wars, but it would have been a different version of the Vong, like inspired by the Legends version. The Grisk is potential because of the Thrawn connection. The Zepho, it's interesting that one of the concept artists put out some of his work on the Arcana ruins, and there's Zepho stuff in it, but that very well could just be placeholder because someone used this. It might have been him actually, but concept art for Obi-Wan Kenobi showed the second sister in it, and everyone was like, but she's dead. And it's like, we're just trying to get a vibe here. That's all concept art is for. And but it's interesting.
It could be High Republic. What if it's the Nameless?
Oh God,
that would be
there are enough
bonkers.
Problems right now.
That would be crazy.
We don't need to throw them into the mix.
There's no way. Grisk would be interesting. I don't know that they're like a big enough threat to be brought in. The Zepho would be
the
cool.
Grisk are as big as the Yuuzhan Vong. Like they're basically the canon Yuuzhan Vong at this point.
I guess.
You haven't read the Ascendancy books.
I did read one.
You read one.
And I didn't like whatever they said about the Grisk.
The Grisk? I don't know them.
No, I don't know them. The Zepho, I like them as history. I don't know that I want them to come back into play, but that could be interesting.
There were questions of like, oh, it's weird that the Zepho plotline got dropped in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I'm like, maybe it's because it was going to happen. Maybe they picked it up for this, but I think the most likely scenario is that it's something brand new we all get to see and find out together.
I think that makes sense. Myriad Media Musings, thanks for another one. Y'all thought the Clone Wars Season 7 was a huge bump in CGI, but Rebels Season 5 looks so good, it almost looks real. You're right. Looks so good.
I'll be a little critical at this point and say there were a couple volume shots that I was just like, specifically when they're riding through the Corellia shipyard and they're on that like hover cart or whatever. That was just the one moment where I was like, I can really tell that that's on the volume, but I got over it pretty quick. Overall, I think the show looks way better than the problems I had with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I think I'm always gonna notice the volume, and like I've mentioned this a couple of times, but the weird, extremely bright white light that is in every single sky just looks off to me. That the skies are just that bright white, unless it's like at nighttime. But yeah, it all does look a lot better. I think they're doing more with like physical props within the volume to make it feel like it works a little bit better. Kind of like whenever Andor did do CGI stuff, they had a lot of actual props in there too.
But there were definitely moments where I was like trying to figure out what was CG and what wasn't. I've been playing that game with Hu Yang because sometimes he's very clearly a puppet and sometimes he's CG, but they've animated him to look like he's a puppet. And I'm like, I'm having a tough time discerning. I was also looking at the Phantom 2 and I was like, maybe that's in the volume or maybe they really built it. I can't tell. So I think that things keep on improving, but yeah, just a couple shots. I was like, that is very clearly on the volume. They're not really riding a hover cart. Immersion ruined.
John Smith in the chat said, the bright light is the sun, Molly. I understand that a lot of these planets have multiple suns, but go back to the Corellia scene and look at how bright the sky is and how bright the sun is on their heads.
That didn't bug me at all.
It shouldn't look like that. There was no clouds in any of the skies.
There were clouds when they were flying in.
In which scene?
When they were flying into Corellia.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when they're on the ground.
Oh, on the ground, no clouds.
Anyways,
I don't know.
I admit it's a nitpick, But I will always nitpick volume stuff until it looks like I can't see it anymore. I just think I don't know. It bugs me. It bugs me.
It bugs me when I notice it, but I think most of the time I don't notice it.
Lindsay Brown is right. I use an umbrella when we walk every day, so everything is too bright for
That's
me.
true. Molly just hates the sun. That's what's happening right now, is you going
Well,
like, oh, what is that bright light?
Well, and then too, was it Zach that made a good point that everyone complains about it when it's too dark on the screen, and so maybe they just made everything way, way brighter. I don't know.
I thought it looked fine.
It's fine. It's not making the show any less enjoyable for me. It's just like we're here for the time being to pick apart stuff we liked or didn't like. Which reminds me, before we move on, we're about an hour in. Should we talk about our giveaway?
Oh my God, yeah. I meant to bring that up at the start. It's a pinned comment, so hopefully people saw that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hilo. We have a very fitting giveaway. This is from Entertainment Earth, sent us this gentle giant statue, and it's Ahsoka from the show Ahsoka. And we're gonna give that away, and we will do that in 51 minutes. There's a link in the chat and in the description to go join the giveaway. All you have to do is join on YouTube. Like, basically, it's just for people who are here in the live chat now. So make sure you go do that.
Good luck, everybody.
Mutt324.
Andy called dibs in the chat, so
I guess we have dang it. All right. Mutt324 sent in a super chat with no message, and I couldn't find a message, but thank you, Mutt. And Miranda here sent in another one. Thank you. Another thought. What lives in extragalactic space? The Rakata, the Grisks, the Vong. The Grisks would let us tie in the Thrawn novels. What we just covered that pretty well, I think.
Could be anything out there. What are those things called? The puppets that we see every year at DragonCon, that they just like their mouths are really big?
Those Muppets. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
What are they? What's the sound they make? They like.
I think they sing the Phenomenon song. Do 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 do. Phenomena, yeah.
No, they make those like weird sounds.
I don't know.
That's gonna bug me.
Anyways. Find an image of it, and we'll pull it up.
The yip yips, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yip 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 yip. Okay.
Yip, because I can always hear them coming whenever we're at DragonCon.
Elliot Finn, thank you for the next question. Is Thrawn using Ezra to communicate with Morgan from the other galaxy? And is Ezra reaching out to Sabine through the dreams she's having? Okay. That's interesting. I like that.
I like the dreams one because they've made it a point to tell us that Sabine is like very, very weak. According to Hu Yang, the weakest he's ever seen in the Force. But it's probably because, she's so closed off to everything mentally and emotionally. But in her dreams, all those walls come down, and maybe she's a lot more open to the Force then. So I like that.
I think that's a great theory, because I know that it's not Thrawn whispering to Elsbeth, but if Thrawn has Ezra, if they're either working together or if he has Ezra imprisoned and is making him do this, either way, it's interesting. And the dream thing, because they've made sure to show us twice Sabine having these dreams, which it might just be her emotional struggle, but it would be a fun little twist if it were more.
Yeah, I like that. Dave McHugh, thanks for the next one.
Oops. That's my bad.
Did you like the slow pace of these episodes? I loved it. felt so much like the original trilogy. Little moments had time to breathe. I think I learned to like the slow pace like after the second watch. I think the first watch, it felt a little too slow just for my taste, just because I was like hanging on every line, and it felt like the pauses were just maybe like 1 or 2 seconds too long. But the more I watched it, the more I think appreciated it.
It didn't really jump out at me. Some people were saying it was slowly paced. I think that there were some slow edits at times that jumped out at me, but overall, it wasn't bugging me. I was just enjoying having an hour and a half of Star Wars to watch. So, and I think you're right also that it probably was meant to feel very original trilogy. The fact that it starts with a crawl and a big old ship moving across the screen. Like, I think that's what Filoni was going for, especially as he builds up to his own movie.
Yeah, the second episode definitely picked things up.
Yeah, I do like the pacing of the second episode more, and I really like the last action set piece with Ahsoka fighting Marok and Chopper and Hera flying after the ship. I thought that was really well done.
It was in line with, I think it was the second episode of Book of Boba Fett that Steph Green directed.
Yep.
It felt very similar.
Yeah, you're right.
And she's directing the next episode too.
Nice. I like her direction a lot. Francisco Gios, thanks so much for the very generous super chat. Hello, guys. I'm so glad we're back to the normal routine. My question is, if Sabine was able to recover fast from the wound she received from Shen Hati, are the orange lightsabers weak in power? I doubt it. I think they're probably the same. I don't think that was set. I don't think Shin was like, stun setting. Bah. You muted yourself.
Sorry. I mean, it still put a hole in her. But we've seen so many people survive lightsaber stab wounds at this point. I'm kind of like, okay, whatever.
Except for Qui-Gon. Poor Qui-Gon.
Well, I still think that Shin didn't deliver a killing blow on purpose.
Maybe. I'll be interested to see. We know they're going to fight again, which I like. I'm already excited for that continuing confrontation, but
I feel like it was a little bit of her just kind of toying with her.
Maybe.
And almost she left her alive as an invitation for a rematch. Because we see them fight again in trailers.
Right.
Because she was just slaughtering people in the first one. Or in the first scene.
It may have been something that she wanted to finish her off and saw the shuttle coming and was like, I just got to run. I don't know. But I want to see the extended conversation between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan runs up and he's like, Master, let's get you to some medical attention right away. And he's like, no, just train the boy. I'm going to die. Like, Master, no, we can heal this. We have the technology. Like, no, just let me die. Qui-Gon was just over it all.
He was like, I'm done.
I think I made the joke when Ahsoka landed and was running up to Sabine, and she's like, oh, don't worry, this wound is nothing. I saw someone get cut in half once, and he came back and he was fine.
He was fine. We can patch you up.
Yeah.
I like what Hu Yang says. Your repairs are done.
Yeah, your repairs are complete.
Ice, thanks for the next one. Ahsoka is off to a great start. Probably my favorite live action premiere. I thought they did great catching up people in a natural way. Was afraid it would feel like a forced info dump, but I was pleased. I agree. I think these first 2 episodes were pretty much exactly what I expected. Kind of an info dump, but in a fun way. You know, I think they took their time with it and really like gave every character that we saw a proper introduction. I am trying to think about it as if I had never seen Rebels. It's hard, but like trying to see like, okay, this scene of Ezra from the recording, delivers a lot of exposition for people who wouldn't know what was going on. And, you know, Ahsoka said this thing about leaving the Jedi Order, so that helps fill people in a little bit here. And I think they did a really good job with it.
I think they did a pretty good job of balancing filling in people on what they need to know of who is Sabine, who is Ezra, and why is he important to Sabine and Hera. Let's make sure to mention that Ahsoka was at one point the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. They got through all of that without me feeling like, oh, this is just bogged down. I still do have a bit of just getting to the end of episode 2. I felt even more excited of like, okay, now everyone's on the same page. I'm ready to go on this adventure. I feel like the first 2 episodes were all prelude, and I'm ready for what's next.
Mm-hmm. Plus, cool map.
A cool map, yeah.
Ball map. Apparently, we haven't seen Treasure Planet. But as soon as Jill posted a GIF of the little ball map in Treasure Planet, I was like, oh my God, it looks just like it.
000 Tragic Solitude as the next question. Thank you. What kind of things is Thrawn doing while stuck in the other galaxy to not be bored? And is Ezra his prisoner? Thrawn is probably, I mean, he's got a whole new galaxy to look at. So maybe he's just spending his time going to museums, hanging out. I hope he's just super chill. And when they find him and they're like, we need you to come take over the Empire. And he's like, oh, no, I'm good. I learned a lot here.
Yeah, there's like a huge library there of books he's never read, and he's like, I got some reading to do, guys.
That's unfortunately not going to be the case, but
I hope that they've found a way to bond a little bit. I think Thrawn is Ezra's prisoner because Thrawn can't connect to the Purrgil. So, I mean, that's how they got there.
That'd be interesting if Ezra's just like got that looming threat of I'll call the Purrgil back if you're not nice to me.
Or maybe it started out that way, and then he tried and couldn't get back in touch with the Purrgil to go in the other direction. And I don't know. I don't think it's really like a who's in charge, who isn't in charge thing. But
they probably divided the Chimera like a sitcom.
They drew a line.
They put a line of tape down the middle, and they were like, "This is my side, and Thrawn, you stay on your side, and we'll get through this." I think my fear and my actual real guess of what Thrawn might be up to is that he may have waged war on this galaxy, or made
by
some
himself.
He's Thrawn. I mean, that would be a pretty good way to set up how dangerous he is for the New Republic. I don't think he's conquered an entire galaxy, but if he has established himself as some kind of warlord over there.
Was there anyone else on the ship?
I'm sure there were.
Just Thrawn and Ezra.
I don't think Ezra killed everyone on that ship to get to Thrawn. I think there's probably more people.
All right. If there's more people on there, then I guess they would be loyal to Thrawn, and so Ezra would probably be the prisoner in this situation. Especially if Ezra gets somehow cut off from the Force.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen, although there's potential because, we don't know what the Force is like in this other galaxy. I assume it exists, but so much of the Force is mental that I could see Ezra struggling to connect with it just because he's so far from home.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Alexander, thanks for the next one. The Jabba the Hutt hologram cameo made me happy, not gonna lie.
I look forward to all of the Jabba the Hutt jokes surrounding Ezra throughout this entire series.
Oh, I was like, explain? I got it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy every time that joke came back up in Rebels when we just did our rewatch.
Yeah. The Zihenorto Thanks for the next super chat. So, how do we think Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn met and became allies? Because between the first Thrawn trilogy and Rebels, I don't see much space for it. I'm with you. We kind of talked about this already. My theory is that he doesn't know she's a Night Sister. She probably just like built ships for him. Maybe she provided him with some of the materials and factories and set up to build the TIE Defender. Maybe there's a connection there. Like, I think that they had a purely business relationship and he had no clue that she had anything to do with the Force.
Yeah, I mean, that might be how she's survived this long. She keeps that stuff like under wraps.
I'm going to go refresh. Do you want anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, while I do that, today's live stream is sponsored. So I'm going to play that and we'll be right back in about a minute.
Now a word from our sponsor, Babbel. If you have an upcoming summer trip abroad, my go-to travel hack is Babbel. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or embarking on your first adventure, communication is key to fully experiencing a new culture. That's where Babbel comes in. Babbel is the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy, bite-sized language lessons, there's still time to learn a new language before you reach your destination. I took Spanish in high school and college, and completing the short lessons on Babbel has been a great way to refresh my understanding of the language again. You only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson, so you can start having real-life conversations in as little as 3 weeks. The lessons are expertly crafted around real life, so you can learn to have practical conversations. And there are a ton of ways to learn with Babbel. Beyond lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and more. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Shriwook and Huttese aren't options yet, but you can choose from 14 languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Star Wars. That's babbel.com/Star Wars for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
And we're back.
Dang, you did it.
I did it. I made it all the way downstairs and back.
Nice.
Well, let's keep on going with Tim Sim. Thank you for another super chat, Tim. Biggest question for me, I may have forgotten, but was there some point in Rebels where Sabine is thought to be Force sensitive, and did she become Ahsoka's apprentice initially in Rebels or after Rebels? You did not miss anything or forget anything. This is all new information to us.
Yeah, I think the only possible hints that we could have gotten is maybe there was the Force theme that got played here and there with Sabine in mind, but I don't think we were getting any secret hints along the way.
Yeah, I do think there are potential hints. I think when we look back at Rebels after finding out everything, that we could figure some things out, but I don't know if that was the plan. And
maybe towards the end too, but I don't know. Now I want to, now I got to rewatch Rebels again.
Oh, no.
Shucks.
Dang it, shoot.
Grey Duck MN, thanks for the next one. In the book Thrawn Alliances, I'm pretty sure Padme name drops Ahsoka to Thrawn. Do you think he remembers/knows her?
She does name drop Ahsoka, and Thrawn, I think, should remember her. He at least remembers
one that I read. Right?
Oh, yeah, Thrawn Alliances. Oh, I was talking about the Ascendancy books.
Oh.
Those deal with the Grysk a lot more. Anyway.
I just wanted to prove that I read a book.
You've read so many books. You're doing great. You just finished Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade.
Ooh, I want to talk about that.
I bet that Thrawn does know who she is. Probably not personally, but I think that he would remember her name, and he learned the Marg Sable maneuver from her from the Legends books. Like, Timothy Zahn wrote this fun little circular thing where Thrawn did this maneuver in, I think, Heir to the Empire, and then Filoni was like, that's neat, and used it in the Clone Wars. And so then Timothy Zahn was like, that's neat, I'm gonna have Ahsoka basically be the one to inspire it for Thrawn. So just like this fun little self-referential thing.
And like Thrawn knew Anakin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Vader.
Yep.
So I wonder if Anakin talked about her ever.
And well, they didn't. They were only just on that one adventure in Thrawn Alliances, and I doubt Vader talked about Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, probably not.
But I do think Thrawn would remember the name.
Maybe Vader had a diary that Thrawn found.
That's how Thrawn is so smart. He reads everybody's diaries.
He knows how to get them journals.
Miranda here, thank you for another super chat. So do we think Morgan was named after famous witches because she's a Night Sister, or do we think that backstory was added on after the fact? Oh, I didn't know. Morgana, okay, I get that. Elsbeth, that also sounds, I just didn't even make that connection, but it doesn't surprise me now that I think about it. I mean, Filoni loves to name people after characters like this. So I think it was probably on purpose because it's been a fan theory for a while that Morgan was a Night Sister, in large part because the hair and makeup person that did Diana Lee Ensenato's hair and makeup tweeted a picture of her and said, she's one of the last surviving people from Dathomir. And Star Wars fans were like, oh,
interesting.
I know what that means.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably all intentional and on purpose. But I did not connect those dots until right now.
What are the famous witches that she's named after?
I think Morgana is from the Arthur Legends.
Okay.
Which
Elspeth sounds familiar, but I don't know what it would be from.
MC Lego Boy says Morgan Le Fay.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
And Miranda here. Miranda here can fill us in on the Elspeth part. Brian says Agatha. That's the wrong witch, Brian.
She is just Agatha.
I've been trying to play catch up on my mythology. I'm reading about Greek mythology right now, and I should have listened to Garth McMurray, who kept telling me to read Norse mythology because it's playing very heavily into this series. So I got to catch up on my Arthurian myths. But yeah,
I think we'll start to see more and more of that stuff too.
Yeah. To answer that question, I think it was on purpose.
I should have looked and found this one earlier from Jackson Gibbons. Thank you so much. Did the map remind anyone else of Treasure Planet? It did. We gotta watch that.
We have not seen that movie, but we did have people tell us that it's like the same thing, and we looked it up, and it is the same thing.
There's even a part where it has like some little green wispy things coming out of it that look just like Night Sister magic. I want to know who was watching Treasure Planet and helping out with this show, and they're like, I got it.
I mean, it might just be that Filoni's a fan. He apparently snuck in a Robotech reference too, a reflex point. Apparently that's a term from Robotech. I saw Mike Chin tweet about that.
What's Robotech? Is that
like an anime, I think?
Oh, okay. It sounds like a TV show that would be on like the TBS or something.
Scotty Heron, thanks so much for the super chat. Was so happy to see the Mon Cala New Republic security dude. We had him. We had a Soliston. I think those are the only two security people I saw that were not human.
Yeah. We had was that one guy that was standing in the background when Ryder was speaking?
The Gotal.
Gotal, yeah. He was creepy looking.
He had a crazy face, but I laughed hysterically when I noticed. I think it was our second time watching, but when they're like, "Where's Sabine Wren?" and he gets like this wild look on his face. He's like, "Arr."
Mumbo Jimbo, thanks so much for the next one. I'd love to see Tom Baker as Bendu, but don't think it'll happen. Hope y'all liked the first 2 episodes. Love your channel. # Bigs forever.
Thank you, Mumbo Jimbo. Bigs forever indeed. I don't know. We could do some Bendu stuff. You never know.
Is Tom Baker still like actively voicing stuff?
I don't know.
Because if he is, I really hope one day they bring him back into something. But even if we don't, like, I think getting the Bendu in something like live action is a pretty far shot. Like that's more of a pipe dream of mine. But I wouldn't mind for it to like show up in a High Republic book or something. I think that would be cool.
I'm sure we haven't seen the last of him, but I think Filoni's going to do some weird stuff in this series, but he's got to ease the normies into it. He can't go full Mortis in episode 3.
Yeah. We just learned, some people just learned that there are witches in Star Wars, and they're like, what?
Honestly, that's true. There's a lot of revelations in this series that people are going to be like, wait, huh? And it's just so common knowledge to me.
Yeah.
Hudsonizer, hey, and thank you for the next question. Another galaxy. This is a huge revelation. Could this re-enter the Grisk into the fold as servants of something else, or maybe introduce the Vong? So the thing that holds me back,
big hot topic question of the night.
Well, I'm glad I'm working on a video for it. The thing that holds me back on the Grisk is that they're not from another galaxy. They're from the unknown regions. As far as we know, we could learn more about them. The Yuuzhan Vong are the only group that we know was from another galaxy. And even still, I'm like, I don't know. I think that would be a lot to throw at people, especially if I expect we're just going to go pick up Thrawn and Ezra and come back. I don't know how much time is going to be spent over there. I hope a decent amount.
I don't know. I feel like we could go in either direction. I don't know. I feel like we're not going to spend much time there, and that'll be sad.
I think it might just be like let's see a new galaxy. We'll put a pin on that. We'll come back to it later.
Miguel Soleto, thank you for the next one. I don't remember Sabine being so snarky in Rebels. It was almost a little overwhelming / distracting.
She's pretty snarky.
I remember her being fairly snarky. And like, she's definitely in her punk rock phase right now.
Just having basically binged through it, I would say that she was fairly snarky.
Yeah.
But I may have felt differently if I hadn't just rewatched it. Gio Flores, hey, and thank you for the next super chat. Do we think that Morgan is the Night Sister from the Clone Wars novel at the end? If you're talking about Bug, that was a short story in the Clone Wars like anthology thing that they did, which was mostly just retelling scenes from the Clone Wars. But then the last story was written by Dave Filoni's wife, E. Ann Convery, and was about a Night Sister, a witch that escaped the massacre. So maybe. Also,
I didn't read that one.
It was also pointed out that she was different from the other Night Sisters. She wasn't part of their clan initially, but was accepted into the Night Sisters. So that could be why she doesn't look like Mother Talzin, for example.
Yeah.
Right now I'm gonna say no, but there are some weird connections, like the fact that Dave Filoni's wife wrote that story. It's like she knows something.
Oh yeah. She's like us, also a fan of Night Sisters.
Yeah.
JC, thank you so much for the next super chat. I'm so friggin' hyped. Everything fit together so well. Awkward Ezra with the head scratch, home one, Chopper's drawer of goodies, so much. Pay your writers so we can get more of this, Lucasfilm Disney. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Please pay your writers
and
actors so we can get more of this.
Chopper's drawer of goodies is excellent and also scary. I don't know what else is in there. We speculated, but I'm sure he's got something horrifying. I like that you
explosives and stuff
that he was casually tossing out the back. I like that you pointed out the head scratch. I really liked the head scratch too. It's straight out of his final message in Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah. But it was a nice touch.
Power Rangers explained, "Hey, am I the only one who ships Ahsoka and Sabine? I'm sure you're not. This is the internet, sir."
Yeah. I've heard just tonight I've heard a bunch of new ships, but I've heard that one before, and no kink shaming here.
I saw some people
or ship shaming.
I saw some people being sad that Ezra sister zoned Sabine in that message. But I feel like that's where their relationship ended. Season 1, it starts with Ezra having a crush on Sabine, but they very quickly fell into brother sister mode, I think.
Well, like I think she friend zoned him first, or brother zoned him, whatever we want to call it. So I don't think they would be. I don't know.
I'm not gonna like be all that surprised if they get together at some point, but that felt consistent to what we saw in Rebels to me.
Yeah. Then that's like a whole other level of attachment that Ahsoka would have to deal with, wrap her mind around. Like if they were together and both Jedi, Ahsoka would be like, "Oh, you guys are really testing me." All right, I need a bathroom break.
Okay.
BRB.
I'll press on. Bill Devers, thank you for the next very generous super chat. Do we think the new galaxy could amplify force powers? Could mean Sabine would level up what minimal connection she has to the force, and or that Ezra would be formidable. We don't know what to expect over there, so maybe that's not something I was thinking about. I am just expecting that the force will still exist over there, but it'll be interpreted in a different way. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't be a stronger in the Force galaxy. Like maybe every planet over there is like Dagobah. I don't know. But that would be an interesting way for Sabine to maybe see her potential. And then she goes back to the main galaxy and she's like, I can do this. I just have to hold on to that connection. Hudsonizer, thanks for another super chat. How do we think the Purrgil are going to play into this? They took Thrawn and Ezra away, but why? I think because Ezra asked them to. I don't think the Purrgil showed up just of their own volition. Like Ezra led them there so that they would do that. Like I think that the Purrgil and Ezra just have a connection. And it's not like the space whales were doing that because it was something that they were like, we got to get Thrawn. Hello, Asti. Thanks for the question. Why are you two in separate rooms? Because it's just easier. It's less crowded. That's it, really. Also, we're together all the time. We can sit one wall apart. It's all right for a couple hours. It just works a little easier for us. Chris Fields, thanks for the next super chat. Marok seems way too close to Merrick. Is there any chance that it's Galen Merrick? There's a chance. I'm not expecting it. Like, the longer you hide this character's identity, the more impactful it needs to be when the mask comes off. And obviously, diehard Star Wars fans know who Galen Merrick is, but most people aren't going to have that giant reaction. Like the most casual fans, like my parents, they're going to have no idea who that is. So I definitely always have the question of who's under the mask. If they're hiding their face, they're probably someone known. But that's honestly usually not the case. I mean, I thought that for like Enfys Nest. I thought that for the second sister in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So this time around, I'm not really expecting a big reveal. That it's someone we know, but there is that chance that they could do it. We know that Dave Filoni considered having Galen Merrick as one of the Inquisitors. And I guess if they did it right, it could be him. It's just some dude under the helmet. Like if he gets stabbed and he takes his helmet off at the end, and we're all like, "Oh my god, it's Sam Witwer." But we'll see. Right now, I'm just gonna keep my expectations low and just say it's someone new, so that I can enjoy the surprise if I'm wrong. Abnormally Lilith, thanks for the next super chat. I think this species is actually the Qua. They were from Dathomir and rumored to be extragalactic in origin. Huh. Well, I'm going to look that up real quick. Oh, I kind of remember them. That would be interesting. And they built like infinity gates and star temples. They were from a long, long time ago. Okay, yeah. I'm remembering them mostly from the Rakata stuff. Huh. They originated on Dathomir. I think that's a solid guess, Lilith. We might not ever know the answer, but that's a really good pull, and I'm impressed. Calm like a bomb. Thank you for the next one.
Did you have to mute me?
Yeah, you were shuffling around in there.
What was I doing?
Or maybe it was Pippin in there?
No.
Someone was making noise in there.
In here?
Mm-hmm. There's a ghost.
That's weird. Is Hilo in there with you?
Yeah.
I got a text from Brian reminding me not to fart because my mic was on.
That's why I muted you. I was like, she's gonna fart. I know it.
If I did, it would have been too late for the text. But thank you anyways.
A Calm Like a Bomb wants to know what we think Chopper's body count will be. Well, he was arguing for a body count in his very first appearance.
Wait, was he?
He wanted to shoot that ship down and let it crash into the city.
Yeah, I want to. Do I? I was about to say, do I want to see Chopper take out a whole other ship? And I kind of do.
I think it was Matty Gunner earlier in the chat who said Chopper's going to take out that Eye of Sion ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want him to do some real damage.
I think there's going to be something to just tip the hat to Chopper's body count in Rebels. Whether he destroys an entire Imperial cruiser or something, or if he just gets to airlock a couple stormtroopers, I don't know. But I'm going to guess the body count's actually going to be low for Chopper. I'll say around 5.
I'll say 10.
Okay.
But yeah, I really hope that there's a line from either from Hera to Chopper, or like Hera and Ahsoka are talking, or Hera and Sabine are talking about Chopper, and they're just like, he's really got it out for like killing people, right?
Should we be worried? Yeah.
Should we be worried about him? And he'll just be like, brap, 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 brap.
Scotty Heron, thank you for the next one. Ezra should have a new lightsaber blaster when we find him, made out of lots of scrap and found materials. Jedi having a stun gun option would be good. I kind of hope he does have a new lightsaber. Just give him a third. Why not?
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of new lightsabers. I mean, we saw Rey's, but we haven't really seen it in action, so I want more new lightsabers.
I mean, we just got Baylan and Shin's.
Theirs don't count. Aren't new. Like,
what is your definition of new?
Hu Yang already knew about Baylan's. I guess Shin's is new. Right? He was like, I've only known one Jedi to build a saber like that.
Oh, but it's new to us.
That doesn't count. I mean, like, newly built.
Okay.
Bill Rudd, thank you for the next super chat. In the next episode of Rebels, Ezra steals a holocron from Kanan. In the first episode, sorry, I haven't said next. In the first episode of Ahsoka, Sabine steals a star map from Ahsoka. It's like poetry. Did you notice any other fun storyline rhymes? Well, in the very first scene, instead of there being a giant Imperial ship chasing a small Rebel ship, it was a giant New Republic ship and a little bad guy ship. I don't know that.
And then they board. It's kind of like a Phantom Menace, two Jedi boarding as diplomats, but then they wage the attack. Not to mention the crawl. And then you also pointed out the story detail that felt very Little Mermaid. That's not Star Wars, but Sabine being missing at the ceremony.
When they're at the ceremony and he introduces Sabine, and there's basically like a record scratch or there's like a feedback in the microphone. That felt just like the beginning of Little Mermaid when they're all singing and she's not there. Disney knows how to bring that stuff back around.
Tully Quinn, thank you for the next question, which we've covered a few times already, I think. Who do you think the ancient race from the other galaxy will be? Is it Yuzon Vong time? I don't even know. We might not get to know who the other race is. Like, that just might be a hand wavy thing for Elsbeth to say, like, who built this thing?
We should keep a score of who everybody thinks it'll be, because we've got a lot to choose from.
I liked Lilith while you were in the restroom. Said it might be the Qua, which is a Star Wars Legends thing, but that does check out. They are related to Dathomir. So I think that's a pretty solid.
I don't know them.
I don't know them.
I don't.
I know. Just we made that joke about the Grisk earlier.
Oh yeah, but I really don't know them. Ice, thanks for the next one. I called the opening scene starting with a jailbreak. That whole scene was so sick. Loved seeing Baylan and Shin in action, but I couldn't help but think of Ray Stevenson the whole time. Glad they dedicated the episode to him. Yeah, I was really happy that they put a dedication to Ray at the end of the first episode, because, man, we lost a good great one.
He's love him in RRR. And plenty of other movies, but it's like I just fell in love with RRR last year, and he's so good in it. And he's also great in this. He's maybe my favorite part of Ahsoka so far.
Yeah. I mean, he's said so many things that are really intriguing for his character. Like, if the remorse for killing Ahsoka is genuine, like, I want to hear him open up a little bit about that. It could not be genuine, but
I think it is. Like, that's the sense I get, is that he's like, it would be a shame to kill her. I will kill her, but it would be a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone was like, what are you about, Baylan? What's your deal?
Yeah.
I like it.
And like, we saw Ray, he was like up on stage at Celebration, and he seemed really excited about everything. So it sucks that we lost him so soon and that he couldn't really be a part of this show with everybody else once it came out.
But Sean Room, thank you for the next super chat. Do you think we'll see much of this new galaxy? kind of touched upon this. I hope we spend an episode or two there, but I feel like most of the show is going to be more in the known galaxy.
I think so too. Just because for all the talk that we've had about like, what is this show like for new fans or casual Star Wars fans? Introducing a whole new galaxy is kind of like mind-blowing to us. So I don't know that they're gonna get too deep into that other galaxy. We don't even know if there's anyone there. Could just be them and the Purrgil.
Yeah, it's like, this is a completely uninhabitable galaxy. Not a single planet here. It sucks.
But there has to be a reason why Morgan wants to go there and why Baylan and Shin think it could be a new beginning for them.
Well, they didn't say it was a new beginning for them. I kind of get the sense that that's what Baylan is hoping for, but he just said for some, a new beginning.
Yeah. He's just embarrassed. He doesn't want to admit that he wants to vacation there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe live there. He wants a vacation home there.
Pigpen, thank you for the next one. Do you think Sabine's arc in the show will be exploring the idea of what is a Jedi? Can somebody without the Force be a Jedi? She could even use her Mando gadgets to substitute for Force powers. Yes, I do think that's what her arc is going to be about.
Yeah. Because we've already seen Ahsoka say she is no Jedi. So I think Filoni is really leaning into what are the Jedi now that the Order's gone. You know, who's making the rules here?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
we've got Ahsoka and Baylan, two former Jedi who have gone down different paths. They're both taking on apprentices. Shin is taunting Sabine for not having any power. Like, I absolutely think that's going to be part of the themes. And it also, it should be brought up that Eleanor, one of our patrons in our book club the other day, talked about Lear Farseeker from a short story, and Yoda talked about this Jedi Master who wrote a Jedi text who was not Force sensitive. And I totally forgot about that. But yeah, at one point, the Jedi were a lot more, it's about the philosophy and not about whether or not you can control the Force. So I do think that there's a real chance we could see Sabine as like, I do kind of think she's going to learn to use the Force, but I would be so down if she didn't and she were just still a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. And that frame, I tweeted it today, the frame from the Rise of the Kylo Ren comic of Luke talking about how the Force is like a door or doorway, and it's like the door can be open really wide and you can be really in tune with the Force, or it can just be open a little bit, but it can always open wider if you're open to it. So yeah. I think her connection is there. It's just very, very weak.
Ice, thanks for the next question. Did anyone else get Fallen Order or Survivor vibes from those ruins? Yes. Also, what the heck were in those self-destructs? Nukes? IG-11, eat your heart out. I think I made the same joke of like IG-11 was able to kill 12 stormtroopers with his self-destruct. Yeah. The HK droids are like, let me blow up this whole city.
But it shows the progression of assassin droids and how much better they got, I guess.
That is true. The IG line was from a while back.
Yeah, I made that comment during our reaction. I was like, this feels like a puzzle from the Star Wars Jedi games.
Yeah, a lot of people made that the Zepho joke.
Yeah. Scotty Heron, thank you for another super chat. Anyone else feel real confident those hyperdrives were for a secret fleet of ships and then were pleasantly surprised they were for something else? I love that they were for the hyperspace ring.
Yeah, it's like, I assume that's what that is. It looks just like one, but that could fit a Star Destroyer, or maybe something bigger.
I just like, I always liked those in the prequels. I thought it was a cool piece of technology. So the fact that they're building a giant one to really sling him out there into another galaxy.
Really slinging him.
I mean, that's what they want to do. They were like, we need more hyperdrives to get extra far away.
In episode 3, there's a line. It goes, "My name is Hu Yang, and it's time to slang." And then they go to the other galaxy. Real Doomslayer 420. Thanks for being a Biggs mega fan for 2 months. It struck me as strange that Marok was just like there. No explanation when Morgan, Balin, Shin all get together as to who brought him to the table. Well, the three of them, I think, just know who he is. It is... I did feel that it was odd, but in a way that I think we're supposed to be like, who's this dude? What's his deal? And as Star Wars fans, of course, we're like, is it Galen Merrick? Is it Barriss Offee? Is it the Eighth Brother? Is it Ezra? I don't think it's Ezra, but
it's just Marok.
Yeah, it might be.
I've been saying that I think he is a new character from the beginning, and I think he might stay that way and just be like this faceless assassin.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what happens. Every time a masked character shows up, everyone wonders who it is, myself included, and then it's almost always someone new. So that's my guess for now as well.
And if he does turn out to be someone specific, then yay.
Yeah.
Pleasant surprise.
Fire spray all day. Thanks for the next one. How long do you think it took Ahsoka to get used to those split toe shoes? They look very uncomfortable.
Have we ever seen Togruta's feet though?
Yes.
They're bare feet?
Yes.
Dang. Do they have weird feet?
No. Well, maybe they have feet like ours, if that's what you're saying.
Maybe Ahsoka has weird feet.
Nah, I think they're just ninja shoes.
I mean, I don't think they'd be that uncomfortable. Just have to be something you'd want to get used to, I guess.
I mean, it's kind of like wearing a flip-flop, right? Just separate some of your toes.
I guess. But it looks like it's like down, it's not between your big toe and your second toe. It's like down the middle. Yeah. I don't know. You have to find her OnlyFans to find out, or her Only Feet.
Only Feet.
SED, thank you for the next very generous super chat. I hope we get Thrawn from the books rather than just making him a villain. I'm hoping he has a good reason for coming back to the Empire, and I hope Thrawn became friends with Ezra and they helped the Chiss. I do agree with you on them becoming, maybe not becoming friends, but like finding some common ground. And I do think it would be cool if Ezra found out about the Chiss. Maybe they visit the Chiss somehow. I guess the Chiss wouldn't be in that other galaxy, but I just think it would be cool if they found some common ground.
I mean, I think that we're going to get a version of Thrawn from the books where I do think he's going to be a villain. I don't think that necessarily means that you don't have to understand him, but like Thrawn is a villain. I want to make that clear. He is a nuanced villain. He's not an evil, wrinkly space wizard dressed in all black shooting lightning from his fingertips, but he still does really bad things in service of the Empire to achieve his goals.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the focus is going to be, but they very much might go into why he's doing what he's doing. I mean, if the Grisk are out there in that other galaxy and he can be like, this is why I'm trying to build the Empire back up. And then that can lead to some really great discussions for the show of why that's not worth it. But I do think he's going to be primarily a villain.
Yeah, I do too.
Also, the giveaway is up. I just picked
Ooh.
our winner, Harry Morgan. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but Harry Morgan is our winner from New York, New York.
Ooh, nice.
If you're not in the chat, well, either way, I'm going to email you. I'll get your shipping information. But congratulations, Harry.
Yay! Congrats. Sorry, Andy. I know the dibs should work in these situations, but
breaking dibs is bad karma. I'm sorry, Andy. Gabo Lizardo, thanks for the next question. How did or do the Jedi view the Night Sisters and their connection to the Force? Balin's description of the pathway to Peridia as a fairy tale for kids seems in contrast to Morgan's view of it being true. Well, I think Morgan just, in that case, Morgan knows more than he does.
How do the Jedi view the Night Sisters and their connection to the Force?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they look down on it in a sense because it's usually almost always powered by the dark side. But they certainly know that it's real. I mean, Mace Windu fought Mother Talzin when she produced like a green flame sword. So I don't think that they're like, oh, the Night Sisters, they're not anything real.
Yeah. If anything, I'd be afraid of them because it sounds like he doesn't know much about them, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Tin Man, thanks so much for the next one. We're going to try to go through some of these a little quicker since we've hit the 2-hour mark here, but hopefully we'll get through a lot of these before we go. Should the Eye of Sion connect to an ISD like Jedi starfighters connect to a hyperdrive rings?
Yeah, I think that's my guess for now. It looks like a giant hyperdrive ring, so it's a hyperdrive ring for something big.
Yeah. Whether or not it'll be an ISD or I don't know.
Maybe they're assuming that the Chimera is stuck, so they're going to fly out there, hook up to Thrawn's Star Destroyer, and fly it back.
Like fly out in something else?
Well, the hyperdrive ring, I assume, could just travel on its own.
Mm.
Like it has its own cockpit.
Oh, yeah. It comes with it, and then the ship docks off, and then okay.
So like Morgan could go out, be like, "Oh, we found Thrawn, hook up to the Chimera, and bring it home." Maybe. Ice, thank you for the next one. I love that Hu Yang is back. I'd like to know how he survived the Empire. I imagine he was also a target of the Purge, but I'm glad he's still around. I think there are definitely questions about Hu Yang, about Ahsoka, about Morgan. I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to be patient. I think we're going to get the answers that we want. Molly disappeared.
Sorry. I'm back. I was looking for a napkin. I love Hu Yang so far. I'm ready for a Funko Pop of him.
That's coming. Myriad Media Musings, thank you for another super chat. What if Thrawn's in another galaxy? Or wait, if Thrawn's in another galaxy, how does Pelion and that Shadow Council know and are expectant of his return? Well, it seems like a lot of the Shadow Council were very much asking Pelion, like, you keep talking about his return, but show us proof. And Pelion, I don't know what Pelion knows or not. He might just be crossing his fingers. Maybe he's in contact with Morgan.
I like the idea that they would be in contact with her and she's telling them, don't worry, he's coming back. Or after they lost Thrawn, they were like, he'll be back. And they've just been telling themselves that this whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see Pelion just being like, he'll be back. Just convincing himself. I like that idea. But yeah, it's something that we don't know the full truth of yet. And it sounds like only Pelion really believes that, and all of the other Imperials are over waiting for him.
Yeah. I mean, I would be. Calm like a bomb. Thank you for the next one.
What'd you say?
What?
Nothing.
Calm like a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I said?
Nothing.
And the big twist is that the other galaxy is ours. Ooh. They're just going to hold up a mirror at the end. That's not how that works, but we're the real aliens.
I really hope that they never do that. Be like, I don't want to connect our universe with the Star Wars universe ever.
Nah. It's a little too like breaking the fourth wall, or something like that.
Michael Maxey, thanks for the next one. With her Jedi training and her Mandalorian armor and weapons, Sabine will beat Shin. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I look forward to seeing them fight every other episode, maybe, and Sabine getting a little better and a little better and a little better. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if she's made any upgrades to her weapons too.
Yeah, we have seen her using some of the gadgets in trailers, like her whipcord and stuff. So I assume she's going to be pulling out all the stops.
I don't know how to say it.
Iklibi brat?
Iklibi brat? That is a creepy picture. Is that Yoda?
I guess.
Oh yeah, okay. It looked like Yoda with a weird ponytail. Thank you for the super chat. I really hope Sabine does not end up being force sensitive / able to wield the force. I genuinely think it'd be more awesome to have her be an awesome fighter without it. It's possible that we could get her without the force. Sabine learning to wield and use a lightsaber would make it that much more satisfying. Besides, not everyone has to be force sensitive. It sounds like she is force sensitive, but just like barely.
Well, I think this is the chance to show that force sensitivity is available to everyone and not just the like, oh, you had enough metachlorians in your blood test, chosen few. That Hu Yang, that's why I love that scene with Hu Yang, where he's like, oh, you are by far the worst Padawan I've ever seen as far as force sensitivity goes. But he's like, don't abandon your training though. Like, keep at it and you will achieve it. I loved that scenes, and I think it's important to see people, like, whether or not she does learn to wield the force. I agree. I think that she is a great character and fighter without it, but I think it would be good to see someone of her age with no talent or aptitude learn to find balance within herself.
Yeah.
Lindsey Brown, thanks for the next one. On the topic of acting, I feel like they're trying to be true to the quirks of the animated characters while also acting like real humans. I do think that's the case.
Yeah, they have a lot of pressure. Everyone working on the show, but like especially the actors, I feel like are feeling a lot of pressure to really bring these animated characters to live action in a perfect way.
There's been a lot of like Ahsoka doing the arms crossing, which people were kind of making fun of that in the lead up to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mary Elizabeth Winstead is crushing Hera and her mannerisms, but yeah, I do feel like they're leaning really hard into the way that they were animated and having the actors do that same thing.
Yeah. Ice, thanks for the next one. I love how they used Hu Yang's database of lightsabers to ID Balin. Again, a natural way to fill people in while serving the story without forcing it. Agreed. We talked about that earlier, but it's such like a cool little perk that comes with having Huyang in this show.
And like you said, it explains who Huyang is and what his role was, but in a way that was important to the story and that moved things along.
Mm-hmm.
Jane Dalton, thank you for another super chat. What is Pelion's role in the hunt for Thrawn? He seems to be representing him on the Shadow Council, but does he have contact with him? Is he working with Elsbeth and running the spy network that Weaver was in? My guess would be that he is in contact with Elsbeth or someone that's hunting for Thrawn, and someone keeps telling Pelion, like, we're almost there. We're gonna find him.
Yeah, we're so close.
I feel like Pelion is just the face of the 7th Fleet in the Shadow Council, and he keeps on telling everyone, like, I promise Thrawn's coming back.
Poor guy. You know he's got a stomach ulcer right now.
I always feel bad for Pelion. Like, he's also an Imperial, he's also a fascist, but he was fun to read about.
I like this. Allie2567. I hope Thrawn wins at the end, to be honest.
It's kind of a bummer that we know that he won't.
Yeah, I mean,
Republic is still around.
He could win in his own way. You know, we might not know what winning looks like to Thrawn. Ultimately,
maybe he considers an artful death a win.
Yeah, if he wins Ezra's heart, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know what my reaction would be if they show up and he and Ezra are just like best friends and they don't even want to go back. They're like, no, we're good.
So crazy.
Like, oh, okay, well, fine.
Sorry to interrupt.
Mr. Tony, thank you for the next question. What are your thoughts on Sabine surviving Shin's impalement? Do you think that's plausible, or was it too much of a stretch? In Star Wars, it's more than plausible.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all.
Well, I mean, it's like we knew from trailers, like there was plenty more to see from Sabine. So there's a lot of that going into it where it's like, I mean, I was surprised that she got stabbed still, but it's Star Wars. Come on. You gotta really want someone to die.
People survive getting impaled a lot more than you'd think. It's got to be the right place.
And Star Wars has Bacta. And
lightsabers will auto-cauterize their own wounds, which is helpful. And yeah, Bacta, we don't know how that stuff works. So they're just like, put a Bacta patch on there. She'll be fine.
That's why I'm just under the assumption that Qui-Gon wanted to die. He was like,
that was a killing blow. I still think Shin purposefully didn't want to kill Sabine.
Qui-Gon he was stabbed like right in the middle, and then he just had to lie there for a while. He didn't get medical attention immediately. Ahsoka was like right there for Sabine.
Yeah.
But also Qui-Gon was like, I'm done. I'm going to go be a Force ghost. He's like, I learned half of how to be a Force ghost. I'm fine. I'm pretty sure I'll figure out the rest.
He just didn't want to train anyone else. He's like, I think this kid needs to be trained, but I don't want to do it. So
he had immediate buyer's remorse.
I gotta go.
Like, oh, Padawan's remorse. Like, I don't want to do this again.
Oh no. Ice, thanks for another one. Balin's saber design has major dark side vibes, though, with the spikes on the pommel. I'm surprised it's the weapon he made as a Jedi, just it's orange-red now, and not one he found after Order 66. I mean, yeah, Huyang did say, like, this is the only one I've ever known anyone to build, so maybe it is because it's a little more dark side.
I would like to have been in that room when Balin was a youngling, and he's like so edgy, like, I'm gonna put spikes on mine, and Huyang's like, are you sure? Like, yeah, it'll be awesome. Now I'm imagining like a tiny little 8-year-old Balin, but he still has the beard.
He's still like giant.
Yeah.
Has anyone else noticed his ring that he's wearing outside of his giant black gloves? One of his hands, he's got a ring on his pointer finger.
Look, he's a stylish man.
A huge like green gemstone type ring. I don't think it means anything or is anything. I was just like, huh, that's a interesting choice. I like the choice of a ring outside of the gloves.
He's just a fancy man.
Yeah.
JK, and thanks for the next super chat.
Hi,
How about Ahsoka's new ability with the Force Echo? Oh yeah, as far as I can remember, that's a new addition to her Force abilities. I thought that was a little convenient, I guess. And also unnecessary. I don't know. That she had to like walk around the crime scene and kind of remember what happened when really like all she had to do was go upstairs and have a droid.
This will be my headcanon for now, but I like to imagine that because of her own seclusion, she's developed this particular skill in the Force because she doesn't want to open up and talk to anybody. She'll just figure it out through Force echoes.
I like that. And it kind of makes sense.
It's like she's taking an extra step to use the Force to figure out what happened instead of talking to Sabine.
Yeah.
Because it's easier.
Yeah, she could have just asked Sabine everything she needed to know.
Yeah. Elijah, thanks for the next one. How likely do you guys think it is that we could see oh my god, I can't talk anymore. See Kanan as a Force ghost at some point? Ooh. Do we think Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to come in and be Kanan in live action as a Force ghost? I would love that. I don't think we're going to see it.
He very recently said something about how like I don't want to play Kanan anymore, but that, you know, that could always be to throw people off the scent. I don't know. I'm like not opposed to it. The Star Wars lore nerd in me is like, that shouldn't happen. He didn't go through the training, but you know, neither did Anakin. And we heard Kanan's voice in The Rise of Skywalker. So there's a little bit of precedent that maybe there's a way to do it. I think I'll go like 30% chance. I also don't know if it would land for people. If we got that in like episode 7 or 8, that's just another character that most people don't know. And they haven't talked about Kanan once. He's in the mural, but they haven't mentioned him. We haven't seen Jason yet. But that's a good time. Whenever we see Jason Syndulla, that could be a good time to bring up Kanan.
Yeah.
They might just not be... They're probably trying to not dump too much on the audience at once.
I feel like Freddie Prinze Jr. has spoken in such a way in some more recent interviews that I don't know that he would be invited back to play him in live action.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that he's maybe that was all to super throw people off the trail, but
maybe. I mean, he didn't do anything like super offensive. He just he's a little more open, and he's like maybe a little more harsh of a critic, and he cussed a lot. I don't know, like
people can cuss and still be in Star Wars.
Yeah. But he went on a very long rant about Star Wars and was a little bit negative about it in a way that made me think they might not ask him to come back to do anything. But
that
I hope I'm wrong.
That would have been after Ahsoka was filmed, if we're thinking about the same interview.
Think so? I
think so.
I've thought that was a while ago. Blunt. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Brian.
Yeah, he's very blunt. But I think it's probably not going to happen.
You can be blunt on our show, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, Freddie. You just want him to bring his wife. You're just trying to get one step closer to Sarah Michelle Gellar. We all
that
see
makes it
through
sound
you.
like I'm a stalker.
You saying that makes you sound like no one was implying you were a stalker, but now everyone thinks it.
What you're implying that I'm only interested in talking to Freddie Prinze Jr. because of Sarah Michelle Gellar, and that is not true.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Ice, thank you for the next one. Leave it to Ezra Bridger to launch himself and Thrawn to a whole other galaxy. Jedi really do nothing by half measures, huh? Did not see that one coming. I wonder if that was a surprise to Ezra. If he's like, oh gosh, kind of like when Qui-Gon settles down Jar Jar and he goes to sleep, and Obi-Wan's like, you overdid it. It's the same thing. Ezra's like, oh, I just wanted to go a couple light years away, and I went a whole galaxy away.
That would be very Ezra if he did the same like head scratch thing. And he's like, "Oh no, what have I done?" Well, this is new.
Sorry, Thrawn.
Brandy Tan, thank you so much for the next one. Hi, Alex and Molly. Did anyone notice the ghost behind Hera when she met Ahsoka in the hangar? Can't wait to see them use it in the show.
I did
We'll
not
teach you for what you do.
I did not see that.
The ghost behind Hera when she met Ahsoka. Oh, in the hangar. No, I didn't notice that.
I'm going to see if I can find it real fast.
Have we seen the ghost in the trailers? We have. Haven't we? I'm almost positive.
I think we've seen the cockpit. I think we've seen the interior. I can't remember if we've seen the exterior.
Or do you mean a spooky ghost?
Also, I don't see it, but I only have like 2 screenshots of her in the hangar, so I'm sure it's there, but I was going to throw it up on screen and I don't see it.
True, there is a Lego set. That's a good point. Wade Scott Skywalker.
I'm sure we're going to see it, but it's funny that they are even withholding a certain ship from trailers just so fans can have that, like, there it is moment.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's there.
We've got another one from Jack Thomas. Thanks so much, Jack. Thoughts on Sabine having survived the same wound that killed Qui-Gon? We're just going to have to do this. I mean, we had to talk about it during Obi-Wan Kenobi, too, with Reva and the Grand Inquisitor. Like, stab wounds just don't cut it anymore. If you either have to be too angry to die, or you have to get medical attention right away. But
yeah.
No, it did not bug me for a second.
It didn't bug me either. I mean, obviously, one of the main characters isn't going to die from that. I've just accepted the fact that those types of stab wounds are now very curable in Star Wars. Jedi Joe L, thank you for the next one. Do you think Baylan and or Shin will become a good guy? So we've been discussing that maybe Shin will.
My vote's on Shin, yeah.
I don't know about Baylan. Unfortunately, we won't get any more of his character since Ray Stevenson passed away.
Well,
so
that's not necessarily true. They could recast him.
Yeah, they definitely could recast him.
But I just because he is a former Jedi and a foil to Ahsoka, more so than Shin is a foil to Sabine, I'm going to assume. But like Ahsoka and Baylan are the 2 former Jedi that are trying to find their way. And I think Ahsoka will be the one that elevates herself and becomes Ahsoka the White, while Baylan probably doesn't do that. So I think that I see more hope for Shin. And I think that Baylan is probably going to die in the series.
Mm.
That's just my guess. Kieran Spores, thank you for the next question. Thrawn is in the second galaxy. How did Pelion get back? So I've always assumed that Pelion got thrown. Like, I thought that maybe the whole fleet was taken into that other galaxy, but it might have just been the Chimera. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from what happens in the finale. They could always change things a little bit and say, like, more happened. I don't know.
Rewatching the series, it only shows the Chimera like being launched through space. So I think Pelion was just on another star. We know he was on another Star Destroyer, and I guess it was messed up and limped away, but not taken to the other galaxy.
Limped away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was on that ship.
We clicked at the same time.
Oops. Michelle Cobb, thank you for the next super chat. When Ahsoka was at the scene of the fight between Sabine and Shin, it seemed that she heard the fight. Were they implying psychometry, maybe? Yeah, so we had just covered this a little bit. Would we call it Force Echo?
Yeah, I mean, like, psychometry is touching an object and feeling its history. She was just kind of walking through the scene and listening to it. So I guess it's similar, but not quite psychometry. It seemed a little easier.
This feels more like what happens in the Star Wars Jedi games, where you
that's psychometry too.
It's just like a little glowing orb, though.
Well, yeah, it's just signaling to you that you can touch an object and learn its history.
Yeah, I just assume she's pretty strong in the Force. She doesn't need to touch the ground to know what happened there.
Her feet are on the ground. That counts.
Yeah, that's why her special shoes are there.
Yeah.
She can feel the ground better with her special shoes.
There we go. We figured it out. Ice, thanks for another super chat. Here we thought they were just stuck in the unknown regions and that's it. But clearly Dave was like, nah, y'all are thinking way too small on this. I mean, that's the reaction I had. I was like, oh, they got real lost in the unknown regions.
I wonder
a whole other galaxy. I really like that development.
I wonder what George thinks of there being another galaxy. I'm sure he's into the idea, but I would love to hear his commentary.
I mean, he wrote the Rishi Maze in Attack of the Clones is another galaxy. So, and also there was the galaxy in Empire Strikes Back at the very end that they're just hanging out outside of another galaxy. So,
oh yeah.
Like,
that's just because it looked cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's all George cares about. If he's like, oh, you made another galaxy? Cool.
Does it look cool, though?
Yeah, better look cool.
Does it go fast?
How fast does the galaxy go? Galaxy go vroom? Okay.
Joey Mizakas, thanks for the next one. Is there a chance Thrawn and Ezra have teamed up to survive wherever they have been all this time? All parties get there, and it's not what anyone thought. I hope so. I don't think that's the case, but I kind of hope that we all get surprised and they've maybe not teamed up is the right word, but I keep saying found some common ground. A little bit of it is some Stockholm syndrome.
That's the joke we've been making, is that they show up and Thrawn doesn't even want to go back. But now I think if you're gonna build up this villain, which started almost 3 years ago when we first heard his name on screen, I think that he's gonna have to live up to that villain name, and they're not gonna show up and he'll just be a chill dude. I think he's gonna be pretty scary.
Yeah.
Tully Quinn, thank you for the next one. I bet after his loss to the Bendu, Thrawn researched Night Sister magic and the Force to level up. Maybe, but it's the timeline of all of that stuff is really, really short. But I also have to admit that, you know, a whole lot has happened in the year between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and we're still learning about more. So that's not really a valid argument in Star Wars to be like, well, he only had X time to do this. It's like, well, who cares?
Yeah. That's never really been how Star Wars works. Scotty Heron, thank you for another super chat. Who's got the better playlist? Cal Kestis, Sabine Wren, or Chas Chadic? Chaddock? Sure. How do you say her name?
I always said it Chasna Chaddock.
Would they all vibe at a concert together? For sure.
I think they would, yeah.
For sure, they would all vibe at a concert together. I need to hear more of Sabine's playlist, but so far, that one song is a banger.
I really like that song, but I mean, Cal is the only one that has an actual playlist that we can listen to. And I have been listening to that playlist a lot while I work out. So I like Cal for that answer. It seems like Sabine has similar interests or taste in music as me, and Chas does too, but we unfortunately haven't been able to hear anything that's on her playlist. We just have to imagine it.
You can hear a little bit of it in the audiobook.
Wait. Did you read the Alphabet Squadron books? Listen to them?
Started it. I don't think I finished it. I might have actually, I can't remember if I finished the first one or not, but I did start the first one and I remember hearing her music because I did remember who she was.
I'm just glad that we are getting a lot of in-universe Star Wars music lately. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Pukit, I'm sorry for what I just did to your name. Do you think the new galaxy is Filoni's way of telling the story that Thrawn is a great danger to tie in with the fact that no one mentions him in the sequels? In this way, the conflict can be on a larger scale. Let me read that. Do you think the new galaxy is Filoni's way of telling a story where Thrawn is a great danger? I mean, I think he's going to come back to the known galaxy. I don't think he's going to stay in the other galaxy for a long time. I mean, he already has, but in this story, I think they're going to bring him back.
It would be funny though if they went to get him and he was just like, "No, I like it here."
But they've already said Filoni's movie is going to be about the war between the New Republic and the Imperial Remnants, and I feel like Thrawn's going to be a part of that.
Yeah, I imagine he wants to get back. Because I don't know what would be out there that would want to, that he, other than an amazing library, that he would want to just stay out there.
No. Jonathan Sky, thanks for the next one. Was the episode 2 title Toil and Trouble meant to make us think about the three witches of Macbeth? Three witches could be synonymous with that symbol for decoding the map. Ooh, I know Molly's been waiting to talk about this. But
I don't know anything about Macbeth, unfortunately.
Well, Toil and Trouble, is obviously about witches. I also think that it just, the episode was full of trouble. It was also full of emotional turmoil. But Molly, talk about not the three witches of Macbeth, but I know you want to talk about the go ahead.
Yeah, so the little Celtic Trinity knot symbol that's on the little map ball, I vaguely knew about it already, but I quickly just like Googled it while we were watching the episode. And I was reading the history behind it. And of course, it's been adapted with like more modern Christian lore as like the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. But if you go further back into like more pagan, how do we move this comment so we can see it? There we go. If you go further back into like pagan mythology, you can find that it also can mean the three goddesses or like three phases of life. And a lot of pagan mythology is all mostly based around women. So there is the three main characters of the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which could symbolize Sabine, Hera, and Ahsoka. So the maiden represents, I had this pulled up in case this came up. The maiden represents a young girl, symbolizing youth, pleasure, innocence, new beginnings. The mother represents love, fertility, maturity, symbolizing the middle of a woman's life as she cares for others, which Hera is like space mom vibes. And the crone represents the facets of all the other stages of life, but focuses on the wisdom learned from a long life.
Crone sounds harsh, but it's
crone. Crone is a very harsh word, but if we look at it as wisdom that came with age, and the fact that Ahsoka is being a little stubborn right now, a little cronish, if you will, it fits. And like, if you watch Charmed, you'll see the same like familiar elements of those three characters come up. But yeah,
I think that that's definitely something to keep an eye on as we continue forward. Like, I don't know if that symbol is going to keep popping up, but I think there's a reason they used it. And I remember seeing it and being like, oh, that's a real world symbol. And you brought up all that. I had no idea about that. And then we keep seeing more and more like Norse mythology, Arthurian mythology. They're doing a lot of real world stuff in here.
Yeah. Andy said, so this show is just Space Charmed. Sounds good to me. I've never actually seen Charmed, and I feel like I really should watch it because it was always on around the same time as Buffy, and I was just like so obsessed with Buffy at the time, so I never got into it. But after looking up some of this stuff, I kind of want to get into it. But I love all the female empowerment vibes in this show so far. It's so cool to have the some of the big main characters. They're all women.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Matt Boris, thanks for the next one. Are Ezra and Thrawn hanging out odd couple style? Maybe. We've been joking about that already.
What if they get a theme song? Their own little theme song.
Kevin Kiner will compose it. Ice, thanks for the next one. It breaks my heart knowing Hera and the others gave up hope of finding Ezra and assumed he was dead. I thought they fought through the war with the hope he would be found one day. It's reasonable, of course, but it was sad to learn. Yeah, I don't fully buy that. Like, that was something that I didn't like about the episode. Just her being like, just exactly that, assuming that Ezra was dead and gone. I'm like, that's not how you felt in Rebels. I think it was just Dave Filoni trying to very efficiently set up that Ezra's been gone for a long time, so long that maybe people wondered if he was still alive. But I feel like Hera and Sabine would have always had that hope he was still out there.
Yeah, I was also bummed, but I understand the fact that he's been gone for so long. I understand the idea that they've all just, in order to cope with it, they've all just assumed that they're dead. But like, that also means that none of them have gotten any closure for Thrawn or Ezra. And so like, these people desperately need some closure or to get them back, because they can't really move on in a healthy way in their lives until they do.
Ricio Matt, thanks for the next question. Did you notice the Purrgil in the sky when Balon looks up after they get the map at the Night Sisters shrine?
I heard the sound of the Purrgil, which I don't know if that was actually him hearing it or if he was listening in through the Force to hear them.
I just saw the ones that were... I think I know the shot you're talking about. I'm going to look for it.
It's that shot that, remember, I was like, why does it pan up like that? And I went back and listened to it, and it does kind of sound like the Purrgil, but it's really faint.
I'm looking.
But I think it was just to show that Balon was acknowledging that he knows of the Purrgil. Are you listening to it?
I'm looking at it right now, seeing if I can see a Purrgil.
I didn't see any.
I think that's just music.
Do they have a theme?
Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. That's cool.
Is there a shadow?
Yeah, real faint, but I saw it. Okay, that's neat.
So I wonder if they're in like Purrgil territory, like if they know that that's where they like to hang out. That'd be cool.
Well, that's like people have asked the question, rightfully so. How is there an ancient map that points the way to where Thrawn and Ezra went missing 10 years ago? And my fully grasping at straws theory right now is that maybe the Purrgil are from that galaxy originally, and then they can travel through hyperspace. So they came over here, something like that. But maybe because Elsbeth knows why Thrawn went missing, that she's like, well, let's just follow the Purrgil back to their home.
MC Lego Boy says, that's what I'm saying. The Night Sisters were tracking the Purrgil. That, I like that idea, that the Night Sisters found out about the Purrgil and what they could do, and
yeah
tried to harness their power back then and track them and stuff.
I think that works.
Interesting.
Haunted Autumn, thanks for the next one. Sorry if you already addressed this. Skull and Hati are wolves from Norse mythology. Marok, in Arthurian legend, is a knight turned into a werewolf. Just a wolf theme? Ezra, a red herring? Well, first and foremost, I think it's a Filoni thing because he loves wolves. But Skull and Hati, I think that they chase the sun and the moon and eventually bring about Ragnarok. I don't think they're going to bring about the end of the galaxy, but by helping bring Thrawn back, that could be a Ragnarok of sorts. But Marok as a knight turned into a monster. It's like, I like that. I'm not fully opposed to the Ezra theories, but I don't understand how they would have gotten Ezra back, but not Thrawn.
No, I don't think that is Ezra, but it could have, I mean, a knight turned into a werewolf could apply to any Jedi turned into an Inquisitor.
That's true. Yeah. It doesn't have to be specifically Ezra. That's a good point. But yeah, I'm loving all the mythological stuff, and it's making me want to. I'm almost done with my Greek mythology book, and then I can catch up on. I got a book about Norse mythology, so I'll read on all of that hopefully before Ahsoka is over.
You got to stop the Greek one, or else you're going to get them all mixed up.
Yeah, that's what happened to God of War. He killed all the Greek gods, and now he's got to go kill all the Norse gods.
Never-ending job.
Chase BSU, thanks for the next one. Having to work late on some tedious junk and have been listening along. Oh, thanks. Thanks for helping the time go by a little faster. If you could pick one to be the captain of, would you rather have the Ghost or Ahsoka's T6?
So we were just talking last night was it last night or today, about how cool the table was?
Yeah.
That Ahsoka has on her ship that like comes up out of the floor, and I was like, it's very IKEA.
It's very space conscious.
But I would go Ghost, just because it's bigger, it's more spacious, and you have the what's it called, the Phantom.
Yeah.
You have a ship within a ship, which we don't really. I guess I don't know if Ahsoka has one of those.
The Ghost is one of my favorite ships in Star Wars. Like, I feel like I could live there and be happy and have enough space. Akeem Hands, thank you for the next super chat. I'm just happy to have new characters and possibly a whole new galaxy to explore. I hope our heroes get trapped there for a season or two. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that'd be crazy if they were stuck there.
I mean, it's possible. Like, we might not reach it until episode 8, and then that could be the cliffhanger of like, well, now how do we get back?
It would be kind of cool if it were like Willow, where wherever that other place was that had like the poison fountain, it was just like this crazy dreamlike space that had all these like weird traps in it.
I can see that.
I don't know if I want them to get trapped there, but it would be neat if we could explore this other galaxy for a bit.
Yeah. I don't want to be in and out real fast. I want to see some stuff. Darth Nicholas thinks of the next question. Despite being human, is there a chance Elsbeth belonged to the same Night Sisters clan as Marin and Asajj Ventress? Could you see human and Zabrak Night Sisters belonging to the same clan? My theory is that she has a spell or something to hide her true appearance. I think that would be cool. But the Night Sister clan was an entire clan. So I think that if she's talking about how Morgan Elsbeth was part of the Night Sisters, I do think that she was part of Talzin's clan at some point.
And then he goes on to say, it's crazy to think that Morgan Elsbeth is the first human Night Sisters / Dathomirian we've seen since the Quinlan Voss comics and Shay Coda from the Dawn of the Jedi comics, both of which feature the Qua.
The Qua. That's that extra galactic species from Dathomir. They're that have a connection to Dathomir.
That feels like a front runner for me then.
Yeah, that's what Lilith said earlier in the chat, which I'm like, that's a pretty solid guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look them up.
Alexander, thank you for the next one. I hope they explore Ahsoka's relationship past with Sabine more, because it feels a bit strange since we haven't seen them together much in Rebels. Yeah, it's like they barely talked in Rebels. So this was all news to me, but I think we'll get into it.
I really agree with this. I hope that we get to see them rebonding a lot in this show, because they already don't seem very close because of the circumstances, but to put that on your audience, to be like, just imagine they were really close at one point after all that stuff after Rebels, but now they're apart again. So it's kind of like hard to think about.
Yeah, it's just weird that they had this whole extra dynamic to their relationship that we never got to see. So I hope they explore it more. Nicholas, thank you for another super chat. We have yet to hear Marok speak or remove his helmet. Do you think he will do that at some point, or keep his mysterious demeanor throughout the whole show? Also, do you still think Marok was the eighth brother? I think I'm going to let that theory go.
Oh, the eighth brother one?
Yeah.
I think that's probably for the best.
I don't know. I think he's probably going to fight Ahsoka in the next episode, because we've seen him dueling her on Cetos in that Red Forest. If he doesn't die then, or I'm kind of expecting him to die, or he'll take his helmet off then. Like, I don't know. I'm not really thinking too much about Marok, because I just want to be surprised by whatever happens. If he is someone.
If that was an important character, they would have had Ahsoka recognize something about him, had like a specific feeling. She would have brought him up maybe again after their fight, because the fact that he didn't even speak, I was like, I don't think he matters. I don't think he's anyone special. What if his tongue got cut out? That'd be kind of cool if like he couldn't talk because someone cut out his tongue, and he's literally just like a mercenary working for people that can't talk.
Maybe. I want to be surprised by whatever the answer winds up being, so I'm just going to not think about him.
Yeah.
But I think he'll either die, or we'll find out he has a larger identity.
Jane Dalton, thanks for the next one. I've been rereading the first Thrawn canon book and got very excited by the big hyperdrive ring because of how obsessed Thrawn was with hyperspace rings in the book. Yes, hyperspace rings.
have not reread that in a long time and did not remember that detail. But I'm very excited about the giant hyperspace ring too.
I think it's a really cool idea.
The newer Ravindra, thanks for this question. Who will feed the Loth cat, and where can I get a plush? You can probably get one at Disneyland or Disney World. I think they sell them at the quote animal store.
Yeah, they do. I've seen people say that it looks very similar to the ones that you can get there, but I hope they expand the Loth Cat merch stuff because it's so cute. And also, I feel like that's probably a wild Loth Cat and isn't solely surviving on the food that Sabine gives it. It's probably it can easily take care of itself and eat elsewhere, but it's like anyone who knows about feeding an outside cat, it's like sometimes they don't show up for a couple days and they're still eating mice and whatever.
But Loth mice.
Yeah.
I like that theory a lot, that it's just it is Sabine's cat. They have one another, but if Sabine has to go out for a while, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Dark Nicholas, thanks for another one. I noticed the Disney Plus helmet and droid intro featured a Phase 1 clone trooper helmet in addition to those of Chopper, Sabine, and Marok. Could this mean we'll be seeing non-CGI Phase 1 clone armor for the first time in Ahsoka?
I did realize that almost all of the intro before Ahsoka was related to Ahsoka. So there could be a Clone Wars flashback. Like Marok, Chopper, I think the HK droid, Sabine's helmet, there was a stormtrooper. There was a lot of stuff in there that I was like, this is very Ahsoka specific. So maybe.
I mean, we could get some. It'd be cool to see a Clone Wars flashback that has to do with the Night Sisters. If we could get some more lore from them through the Clone Wars era.
Yeah, maybe. Scotty Heron, thanks for another super chat. I think I figured it out. Marok is actually Volvith Mon. That helmet is going to come off and boom, Wolf Jedi fall into the dark side. I gotta look that up.
Volvith? That's a heck of a name.
Just Stavenin looks like.
A wolf Jedi fall into the dark side.
I feel like we talked about this sometime in the past few weeks.
Deep cut to the micro series. Is
that
that what that's from?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think that's a solid theory, and I hope you're right.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to this next one from Matthew Byron because I was looking up this word Peridia and like trying to do some deep dives on it, but they said Peridia sounds like a play on perdition, which could make sense.
Could be that. Para in Greek, I was looking it up too, the etymology. Para can mean beyond, which I think works. And dia could be related to like deities or gods or something. But I like the idea that just para means beyond somewhere, just because it's beyond the bounds of the known galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Perdition means a state of eternal punishment and damnation into which a sinful and unpenitent person passes after death. Oof.
Well, you called it purgatory.
Purgatory is way better.
That's pretty good. Enigma Reed, thanks for the next super chat. Assuming the other galaxy is the Rakatans' home galaxy, could the Purgil have come from or inspired their technology in the way they inspired hyperdrive technology? Yet maybe Purgil are the source of all interstellar travel throughout all the galaxies. They're just flying around and everyone is inspired by it.
They're like, dang, y'all, we did it first. And we do it better. Because we can do it whenever we want, and we don't need no rings.
But yeah, I think it's possible the Purgil could inspire all races in all galaxies to learn how to use this tech.
That's cool. Ice, thanks for the next one. Was I the only one who gasped when Sabine was stabbed, even though I knew she would survive because she hadn't cut her hair yet? I won't lie, Dave got me. I mean, if you go back and look at our reaction, we both gasped, but then you're like, oh yeah, there's no way she's dying right now.
Yeah, I was surprised by it, but not worried about it.
I guess I was shocked at the fact that they're doing that again. Stop trying to make stabbing work. Star Wars.
Michael Maxey, thanks for the next one. Sabine is the age Luke was when he began. She's actually a little older. Luke started at 19, and Sabine's a little older than Luke is. So she's, doing Star Wars math. 25, 20. She 31? I think she's in her 30s. She's 2 years older than Ezra, and he is the same age as Luke. So I think she's 30.
Plus, they were playing her theme on a French horn, which is what the theme is when Luke is looking out to the twin suns.
Yeah,
that's on French horn too. So
yeah.
I was like, well, there you go.
There you go.
This is her Luke and the twin suns moment.
But yeah, like she's old for a Jedi, but I like that.
Yeah.
You're never too old to be a Jedi. I need to hear that.
I know. People in the 30s need to hear that. Check on all of your friends who are in their 30s, guys. Make sure they're okay.
Madison Badger, thanks for the next super chat. Do you think Ashley Eckstein will get a cameo, not as Ahsoka, as a background or minor character? I really hope so.
I hope so too. I think that would mean a lot to everyone, and especially Ashley.
I feel like it's gonna happen. I hope it does, but I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, Dave might be saving a cameo for her, like a specific cameo. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Ice with another super chat. Thank you so much, Ice. I like how Hu Yang addressed that Sabine made some changes to Ezra's lightsaber. It's one of my favorite designs, and I'm so glad it's largely consistent, but I like her making adjustments to it. I think it's interesting that she did. Yeah, she's so mechanically inclined, and she loves technology, so it makes total sense that she would make some little tweaks.
I'm surprised she didn't do more to it. Paint it or anything like that.
Paint it, yeah. Draw a little Lothcat on it.
I'm the Stein. Thank you for the next question. Do we know the name of Ahsoka's ship? I think she just called it the T6 bunch of numbers when she was flying into Home 1.
The T6 bunch of numbers.
T6 bunch of numbers. I have a trivia competition I'm entering next week. This is the state I'm in. So I would be surprised if she named it, honestly, because she seems, she
doesn't do attachments right now. Yeah,
right.
She probably doesn't name her ships.
So I don't think it has a name.
Daniel Corpus, thank you for the next super chat. I'm so excited that most of what we saw in the trailers was mostly in yesterday's episodes. There's so much new stuff to see. I agree. And I think that's something that they do typically do with trailers, is mostly cherry pick from the first couple episodes. So I'm hoping a lot of the other stuff that we've seen is still from the first half of the season.
The only big things
I was happy about that too.
I can remember is like the Marok fight in the forest and Baylan fighting Ahsoka on Cetos. So I'm like, they know Ahsoka and Sabine are headed there right now. So episode 3, I think, is going to be the Marok fight. Sabine, Ahsoka might fight Marok and Baylan, and Sabine will fight Shin again. That's my guess for episode 3, and beyond that, I'm not sure what else we'll see. It'll all be new, and I'm happy about that.
I mean, I assume the next one we'll see them go to that planet because we see Baylan talking to Ahsoka in that little map room, outdoor map planetarium, whatever
the map sunroom, yeah.
Yeah.
The map lounging area. Joel Davis, thanks for the next one. Loving the show, but hating how people are comparing this to Andor as a negative. Almost makes me wish Andor never happened. Oh, don't say that. Again, almost. Like, that's... I'm with you fully that comparing young Jedi adventure... Like, can you imagine comparing every bit of Star Wars to every other bit of Star Wars and just being like, you're allowed to have your preferences, but don't expect every Star Wars to be that Star Wars, and just try to enjoy what's on now for what it is, and then enjoy Andor season 2 again when it comes out. Like, I'm very much looking forward to more Andor, but I'm not expecting anything else to be that.
I gotta say, if every Star Wars was like Andor going forward, we'd lose a lot of people.
It's stressful to watch. Like, it was different, and I appreciated that about Andor. I love Andor, but if we had to do that constantly for every series, like, I would have a heart attack.
Yeah, and I like being able to change it up, and I like that there is now kind of a Star Wars for every mood that I'm in, kind of.
Yeah.
And I mean, Star Wars has always been fun and silly and goofy, and we need that stuff. And we didn't get a lot of the fun, silly, goofy stuff in Andor. So you gotta have variety is the spice of life.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have it.
Gotta have it. And that's why, like, we even, when the new episodes of Young Jedi Adventures dropped, I wasn't expecting that I would be into that show as much as I am. But it's just like, let's watch some lighthearted children with lightsabers.
Yeah.
Flying around without a license. Good for them.
And then Joel had the next one too.
Do you think it's possible Thrawn has learned some Force secrets while in exile? The planet he seems stuck on seems very magical. Well, we don't know where he's stuck. But even if he isn't stuck somewhere magical, he's got Ezra with him, and I feel like he's going to figure out some stuff. I think it would be great if he came back to the known galaxy and he was like, all of my weaknesses are gone. I know all about the Force now. Mm-hmm. I mean, he'll still be wrong, but I could see him being in that mindset.
Yeah. Bones McCoy, thank you for the next one. We're getting close to the end here, so we are going to try to wrap up soon. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us this whole time. We just passed the 3-hour mark, so we're getting to that point of the night where we're like getting a little loopy because we haven't had dinner. So we're gonna try.
No dinner, 2 beers. Let's go.
I remember you two talking about rumors of a live-action Rebels season 5 4 years ago, and by golly, it's here. We did it.
I think at that point it was even rumors of an animated follow-up. That's what I remember hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And then things started to shift into Disney Plus and live action.
Yeah. We did it, Joe.
We didn't do anything. We just sat here and talked.
I'm just saying, we made it this whole time.
We made it. We survived. Childish Tabino, thanks for the next question. How big of a role do you think Anakin will play in the story? Flashback, Force Ghost, World Between Worlds, or all of the above? So episode 5 is the next one, directed by Dave Filoni. I would keep an eye out on that episode. That's just my guess. I don't think he's going to be in a ton of episodes. I kind of hope it's a little bit of flashback, a little bit of Force Ghost. If I could only choose one, I want it to be Force Ghost.
Me too. I wouldn't mind a flashback, but we already got one in Obi-Wan, so I want to see Force Ghost Anakin in this.
I do think it would be valuable to have a flashback for people who haven't watched Clone Wars, just to see Anakin and Ahsoka together. to make that more real than just Ahsoka saying, "I walked away from Anakin."
Mm-hmm.
I think there's value in that, but if I could only choose one, I want to see them talking in present day.
Yeah. Same.
Ice, thank you. Oh, we did it again.
Go ahead.
Ice, thank you for the next one. I found the scene with the map very interesting. Not sure what to make of the voice Elspeth is hearing. I don't think it's Thrawn. Me neither. And that actually worries me. Me too. Might be Ezra under duress, but who knows what's out there. I'm very scared / excited for whatever they're heading into. Because Elsbeth seems confident, and I'm like, you are so wrong. That is not Thrawn.
I think she knows it's not, though.
She said Thrawn is calling out to me. She could be playing Balin or something, but I think she thinks Thrawn is calling to her.
I think Thrawn is finding a way to call to her and baiting her with Night Sister stuff. Like, if you save me from this, you have a life you can live out here with other Night Sisters or something like that.
I think she is way off base. Like, she's going in the right direction, but for the wrong reasons. I think they're going to find something bad out there.
Villains tend to do that.
Yeah.
Jeremy Skywalker, thank you for the next super chat. Just wanted to say I love you guys. You guys showcase the best parts of fandom. Oh, thank you. And I love little Grogu on R2-D2 in your picture.
That's super cute.
It's cute. Thank you.
Joel, thank you for another super chat. I don't mind Ahsoka just telling us a bunch of stuff happened because the original 77 Star Wars is predicated on the idea that you're just jumping into the action. I mean, you're right. Lucas made Star Wars, and he specifically wanted audiences to feel a little bit like they had just missed a few episodes. Like, that's why he wanted it to be episode 4, and Fox wouldn't let him call it that. But that's exactly what he was going for. So, a bunch of audiences are being thrown into the middle of this story.
Mm-hmm. Calm like a bomb. Now I'm trying to say calm like a balm. Calm like a bomb. If Chopper doesn't blow up a ship, we riot, right?
I mean, I want them to let him loose. Let him off his chain. Boys. Yeah. Let him go.
Yeah. We just want to see Chopper really let her rip on someone or something.
Let it rip on his little middle wheel. Let him go. Load him up with guns.
Load him up.
Sage McCone, thank you for the next super chat. Which lightsaber fight are you looking forward to? Balin versus Ahsoka, Marok versus Ahsoka, round 2, or Shin versus Sabine, round 2?
I think Balin versus Ahsoka, just for the chit chat alone. Like, I'm sure the fighting is going to be great, but if we're talking just fighting, like just the lightsaber fight itself, I think Shin versus Sabine round 2 is going to be a good fight.
I am also excited for Balin Ahsoka. There's a moment in the trailer where Ahsoka is like defending and she throws her leg way back, and I'm like, that's straight out of the Clone Wars. So I'm excited for that side of the physicality, but also knowing that he's gonna like talk about Anakin and stuff. And at first I thought in the trailers it would be jabs, but now I'm like, I think he genuinely might have some respect for Ahsoka and be sad about this fight. So I am very interested in that one.
Yeah.
Haunted Autumn, thank you for another super chat. Thank you. Star Wars Explained has been my port in the storm for many years. Nothing, including Star Wars, is perfect, but it's nice to connect with those who wish to focus on what they love. You've built such a community. Thank you, Haunted Autumn.
Thank you. And I like your username. It's very fall vibes.
Molly's getting into fall vibes a little early, as she does every year. But
hey, pumpkin spice latte comes out tomorrow. Everybody.
Tomorrow? It's supposed... Oh, it's earlier every year. Whatever. I mean, I like it, but... Thank you, Haunted Autumn. We're very
What do
proud
the kids
of our
say? Let's go.
Hush! I'm trying to say something real. Stop saying "let's go." That's the time you choose to say it. We're very proud of the community that we've built and everyone that's in the chat. So thank you, Haunted Autumn. Alexander, you go.
Alexander, thank you for the next super chat. We'll find Ezra and Thrawn on the Paradia equivalent of Pabu eating sushi on the beach while wearing Hawaiian shirts. Paradia,
They've just been vacationing for 10 years.
10 dang years.
Pulled back in. Mary Aft, thank you for this super chat. I'm late, so sorry if asked already, but do you think Night Sisters are originally from outside the galaxy?
The Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah. I'm going to go with no. The way Morgan talked, it's like, I think she had knowledge of extragalactic beings, but I think the Night Sisters were from this galaxy.
Mm-hmm. I like that they are just another facet of Force wielders, but that it's dark magic. But I do think they're part of this galaxy too.
I just want to point out, Brian is yelling at me because I'm drinking a pumpkin beer. I'm not. It's an Oktoberfest, but it's not a pumpkin beer. So hush you.
That's pretty fall, in my opinion.
It's fall. I'm just saying pumpkin spice latte, which I love. I think they taste great. But part of what makes it special is it's like a once a year thing, and they keep growing out how long it's available.
No one's on your side.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Campy, thank you for the next super chat. Ancient Aliens guy. I'm not saying it's Yuzan Vong, but aliens.
It might be.
It might be. Honestly, I would be shocked, but excited if it were.
And our last super chat of the night is from High Powered Beaver with no message.
What a name.
Just a great username.
Thank you for the last super chat of the night. Guys, this has been a blast. Let us know in the chat if you are part of the 603 gang. It is 3:12 we're at 3 hours and 12 minutes into this. I gotta go cook dinner.
We're gonna cook dinner, get some food in us. Darth Nicholas, I saw you just sent in one more super chat. We'll save it for tomorrow, I promise, because we do need to wrap up and get to some other things. But thank you all. We will be doing a Lego stream tomorrow at 6 or 6:03 or so.
Don't say 6:03 because then we'll push it to like.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
later.
we'll be live at 6 on the dot.
6 on the dot. But this was really fun. I had missed chatting with you guys and like doing these big, long Wednesday live streams to just really dive deep into these episodes. So I'm excited to do the same going forward for the other episodes.
Yeah, we will be back next week, and we might be a little early next week. I'll tell people that because again, Dragon Con is happening. We have evening plans next Wednesday, so I think we'll probably just start earlier to accommodate.
Much earlier.
Yeah,
like hours earlier.
Yeah, we'll start a few minutes earlier to accommodate. But yeah, I think we're gonna be done for today. Thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow, or we'll see you next Wednesday. May the Force be with you.